Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah.
Friday, baby!
Who stayed up to watch a loss?
The good news is it wasn't too late.
Man, those games moved
Fast.
nine of the 15 games 240 or less, and 6 of the 15 under 230.
The only one I cared about was the Guardians, and it was just
220?
over 2 hours. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Guys on the radio talk about it. It was a bit rushed.
Well,
What
no,
is it?
listen,
F
no,
up.
no, listen.
Rush.
Listen,
Love it.
so the general feel was the pace was perfect.
Yeah.
With one exception, and we saw it in our game. When the game speeds up, pitching coaches and managers will always tell their pitchers, slow down. And
Suck
we
it
saw,
up, Buttercup.
and by the way, we didn't predict this. We felt if there was one a Guardians pitcher most susceptible to melting down,
Yep.
it was
Oh, he
Karinchak,
melted down.
and we watched him melt down. Bad job by Tito for keeping him in there. I know it seems like armchair quarterbacking. Before he gave up the
you're
home
right.
run,
He
I
was
was
done.
begging,
He was
get
done.
him out of there. He's cooked.
He was done.
Jay,
And he
you
saw
got
his face.
overreact.
We'll get to some of
overreacting
these
to me
other
today.
overreactions in a minute.
All right, good.
I'm the overreactor today,
Hey,
not you.
Brad's not here. He's going to be here at 11:30. He's fixing the city.
So I
He's the
have
mayor
actually have
of-
leg room for 30 minutes.
So inside baseball stuff here.
Yeah.
Bull actually doesn't like the seating arrangement when Brad's here.
Yes.
Because Brad's legs are like 14 feet
Yeah,
long.
yeah. And then I'm like, I'm a
Bull
little
ends up getting
cramped.
cramped.
Yeah.
And
Because
Bert's-
what's the guy going to do? He's got the longest legs in the history of the planet.
Does.
You got
you have the shortest
I
legs
don't
in the
I
history
don't
of the
have
planet.
long legs, but
You got T-Rex
I like to
arm
spread
legs.
my legs out.
Like, are you man spread?
I'm
Like-
man spreading here.
You
like-
may have the shortest legs in
Well, I
the
don't,
history.
no, Jason's got pretty short legs. I love when Jason's here because his legs don't.
Oh,
take
Jason's legs don't touch the ground.
Lot
He
to
like
talk
this.
about.
Yeah.
Guardians recap.
Yeah.
Didn't go the way the Guardians hoped. It's
No.
one game. Simmer down, everybody. This team will
Mike's
hit.
not simmering
Seattle's
down.
a very good team. And they owned the Guardians
Absolutely.
last year.
I picked them to
and
win the West.
Here's something
One
that's
game.
very
One game.
nervous. It just makes me very nervous. The Guardians have 7 of their first 10 against this Seattle team that owned them last year.
It's all right.
Owned them.
It's all right. Let's not panic.
No, not going to panic, but
Okay.
it doesn't necessarily set up to the Guardians get off to a fast start. And, of course, game 2, we're not going with our second starter or our third starter or our fourth starter.
That's correct.
So that also
Not
makes
really
me a little
even
bit
their fifth
nervous.
starter.
We'll talk in depth about that. Also, Mikey is firing up the hypothetical trade machine. This is Mikey McNuggets. Don't say the UCSS show says that this is going to happen.
Right.
Don't say that we're even. I don't even want to make it look like we're recommending this trade.
I'm
this
recommending
is all
it.
McNuggets.
I'm recommending it.
And we're going to tell you whether or not we would do this trade.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised at the answers. NFL
Brad
Coach
has
of the
no
Year,
idea what it
odds
is,
are
by the
out.
way.
Good. Let him be
Has no
surprised.
idea.
Let him be surprised. If you missed the clip yesterday on the
New Heights podcast.
but yeah, the New Heights podcast, which obviously named after Cleveland Heights.
Yeah.
The Kelsey brothers are hilarious. They're future media stars.
I was lit. If you haven't seen this video, we're gonna play. Are we playing the whole thing?
Yeah,
The
we
minute
should.
30 clip.
Yeah.
Exactly what I sent you.
I laughed so hard. There were tears
I was
coming out
too.
of my eyes.
It is hilarious.
Oh my God.
First of all, I love the honesty and transparency of
Right.
Travis Kelsey.
He-
That's why he's going to be a media
He
star.
just doesn't give a shit.
He just doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
He doesn't care. So,
Yeah.
aside from tap dancing on probably half of the NFL head coaches,
Including
wait
ours.
until you hear what he says about our coach. It might have been the funniest line in the
that
entire
was the
minute
best
30
line.
clip.
That's the highlight of the clip.
So we'll get to that. We'll also touch on the baseball stuff. I thought they missed one call yesterday, Bull.
In the
I
Guardians
thought
game?
the Rafi, when they called Rafi out in the Red Sox game, I didn't like that call.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if you
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
at
yeah,
it, but that was tic-tac.
Yeah.
That was poor
Yeah,
use
yeah.
of the new rule. But I, as far as the Karinchak call, they got that right when they called a strike on
Yes.
him, or a ball on him,
Well, they
and
blew
that's
it
where
later.
the meltdown began.
They blew it later in that at bat.
They did blow it later in that.
Well, we were supposed to be watching the other games too, or like.
Nah, you don't have to.
No.
Bull and I are,
They're overachievers, G. You know.
Yeah.
Bull and I are sick.
Okay.
Bull and I are
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
All right, your bet. You won.
Yes, I won, and I don't feel guilty about it because they covered the money, the run line anyway. I had the dot. In fact, a former colleague of mine, I won't name his name on the air, texted me right before the show yesterday and said, "Send me 3 baseball bets yesterday."
Did
I
all
sent
3
them-
win?
All 3 won. I said the Mets, Dodgers, and Orioles. All 3 hit. But I had the Dodgers last night.
I did hear from two folks yesterday after the show that said Bull has to pick the run line.
Yeah.
Has to pick the run line.
Today I didn't because I picked a team that's a minus 115, which is pretty much a pick 'em.
No, yeah, that one's close, but
only if it's I've decided if it's under 120. If it's under 120, otherwise I got to do the run line because under 120 is basically a pick 'em.
Well, I mean, there is a favorite in that scenario.
Yeah, but that's like a 52.
And you're going
48.
with the scenario.
Or
so
we could just keep a running tally on the numbers.
That's going to get too mathematical for
I might have to do it myself.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's do the best bet.
And Bull's best bet of the day is brought to us, as always, by Bet Rivers Sportsbook.
Yeah.
Right now, it is the perfect time to join Bet Rivers and get a $500 second chance bet when you use deposit code SPORTS. Get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball, hockey, and baseball. To help you win big, check them out at BetRivers.com. Download the Bet Rivers app today for the latest lines, odds, and boosts. And before Bull says his bet, my athletics bet, I lost last night.
Oh, my
Off
God.
to a tough start. 161 games left to go. Don't worry.
By the way,
McNuggets is going to bet the A's to lose every game this year.
The A's, who, again, even though they won, are hideous and have the worst roster I've ever seen, or one of them, the non-expansion.
But they didn't beat Ohtani.
No.
But he started. He didn't take the loss. He was gone after 6 innings.
That's correct.
But they beat them 2-1.
In fact, the Angels are the first team in the history of opening day, the history of baseball, to lose a game in which their starting pitcher went 6 innings or more, gave up no runs, and struck out 10 or more.
Well, Bieber almost pulled that off. He only had 3 strikeouts, but he went 6 and gave up 9.
It sounds like the Guardians.
Right. Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah.
Ohtani was lights out
He
again,
was great.
but the Angels couldn't do
His
much.
curveball looks even better than it did last year.
He might end up being better this year. Maybe he'll win the Cy Young and the MVP.
The action he gets on his curveball, it's insane.
It's ridiculous.
One tracker had his curveball breaking 22 inches.
Yeah. Now, I have the Mets minus 115. If you want to switch it starting today, then I got to do the run line, then I'm going to switch my pick.
Well, let's start it next week with the run line.
Okay.
So that way you're good, because you would have won yesterday's bet.
I would have won anyway. I'm taking the Mets over the Marlins. The Mets are going with David Peterson today because Justin Verlander was supposed to pitch. He went on the injured list yesterday, right
Same
before
thing
opening
that
day.
Sticks has. Same
Yes,
injury.
Yes. And so I'll take the Mets, even with Peterson as a slight favorite over Miami. A lot of people think Miami's going to be better this year. I am not one of those people. I think they stink. I'm taking the Mets to win their second straight. I'm very high on the Mets. I think they're going to go to the World Series this year. And
you don't think the loss of
well,
Diaz
if they lose Verlander for the season,
no, I'm just talking about their closer.
I think. And with Diaz, no, I think they'll make up for it. In fact,
wow.
To me, there'll be other closers to get. In fact, if I'm the Mets, I'm already looking at.
There'll be other closers, but he was the best one in baseball last year.
Yeah, but
so
you know
there's going to be a drop back no matter what. There's going to be a drop off.
But I don't think losing a closer kills you. As long as you find an acceptable.
I'll tell you this once: when you get in the playoffs, it will.
Yeah, but
I mean, having a lights-out closer that you can rely on is going to get you the last 3 outs.
Neither team in the World Series had a lights-out closer last year.
No, they didn't. But that was strange.
They had good. The 2 best closers were the Guardians and the Mets.
Astros-Angels game or White Sox game was really good. I don't know if you.
There was a lot of good games. I watched.
There were a lot of great games.
The Blue Jays and Cardinals. That game was wild.
Yeah.
The Orioles-Red Sox.
I'm so glad it's back.
Rangers-Phillies was good. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Phillies didn't look so hot. So this is what we'll do. Your pick is out there.
Yeah.
You're now 500, or is he over 500?
500 on the dot.
Even Steven. So you know what I think is beautiful about that? As baseball season starts, he's 500.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to mostly take baseball games. I'm sure in the NBA playoffs, we'll bet the playoff game. I would imagine you will.
Some, but I'm mostly sticking with baseball.
All right, good.
So
we'll find out how good you are at betting baseball.
Right. That's
By the
right.
way, quick aside, no need to discuss. Celtics-Bucks last night?
Oh, my God.
If that was like a 7.4 on the Richter scale.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I wasn't watching any basketball yesterday.
I was following the game.
I know it was a 40-point game, but
it wasn't
Celtics
worth
got
watching.
Smoked by the Wizards the night before.
I know
too,
they
so
did,
it's
and they were
the
hot.
highs and lows.
I don't care. I don't care.
The
And
Bucks
you know
will
what?
still probably
Giannis
be
played.
the 1 seed, though.
Yeah, I think they're still going to win the 1 seed.
They don't have the tiebreaker, but they're up by 2 games.
It's
with
not
5
a slam
to go.
dunk. It's not. But I don't think at this point it matters. I mean, when you beat a team by 41 points,
yeah,
yikes.
We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Let's dive in.
Overreaction, Mikey.
3-0 loss. Shane Bieber was a magician. He absolutely was. James Karinchak was a mess. Wow. And the bats were MIA. 4 hits. Brennan, Rosario, J. Ram, and Bell. And that was it.
And those last two came with
in
two outs in the ninth.
In the ninth, and I thought, oh, here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
And then Bell grounded out to
when
end it.
Ramirez hit it, I thought, wow, it's a one-run game.
By the way, Brendan,
Didn't work out
at
that way.
first, you thought Brendan hit Castillo in the head.
I did. It hit him in the hair. It hit him in the hair.
But because he's got such thick hair, it fell. It went off his hair as if it hit his head.
It did. It did. It redirected the baseball.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was super disappointed on the missed call on the foul tip.
Yeah, let's do the
that isn't reviewable.
We're gonna get to it.
That's nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the game. We're talking about the game. That's one thing that I was really disappointed in. The umps flat missed that, and the fact that baseball doesn't allow that play to be reviewed. What the hell is that?
It's crazy.
Well, that leads us into
that's
our
ridiculous.
first overreaction perfectly, Jay. So I mentioned this on the call.
So no talk about the game. We're going right to overreaction.
We're talking about the game within the overreaction.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
Yeah.
So I think there's 162 games in baseball.
You're good.
And maybe most people shouldn't overreact to one 9-inning game.
No one should.
I am.
Of course you are.
So let's go. Overreaction number 1 to the Guardian season. Major League Baseball's new rules and the umpires are already teaming up to ruin the Guardian season. It was a horseshit tip. It was a BS call. It should have been a strikeout.
That's a premise that it's Cleveland against the world.
Exactly. Which, as we proved the other day, it is.
But you hate that, you said. You hate that cliche.
That's the bit.
It doesn't. Anthony hated it.
Oh, it was his list.
That's the bit.
Well, he's the one that added that one to the list.
This is.
All right.
I
So
mean,
you don't believe-
but that's nonsense.
There's-
You think that Major League Baseball executives got together in a room and said, "All right, guys, how do we take the Guardians down?
No.
We got to break up this juggernaut."
Yes.
The fact that you
Stop it.
obviously that's silly, but the fact that you can't review a foul tip is beyond stupid.
Yeah.
Why that's not
Unbelievable.
reviewable in baseball?
Bad job
I
by
have
baseball.
No idea.
Did you even know that wasn't reviewable? I did not.
I didn't.
A
for
hit
sure.
by pitch is reviewable.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know. It's insane.
So
Go ahead,
so are you saying that did that play cost him the game?
Well, we have no idea.
See, here's the problem. It put a guy on base. It continued the meltdown from Karinchak.
It did.
He needed an out there as badly as a pitcher can need it out.
But
it was a full count.
Now, what we don't know is
What would have happened if he had pitched?
right. I remember Al Pulowski on the postgame, and Al does a great job, but he said, "Well, it would have been one out," and I was like,
No, it would not have been.
It would
one
not have been an
No.
out. It
He
might have
dropped
been
the
an
ball.
out.
Had Zunino held on
Caught
to
it.
the ball,
Yeah,
it would
right.
have been an out, but he didn't.
It might have turned out to be an out, but we don't know.
Yeah.
The at-bat would have continued, so we
And
don't
we'll
know.
never know that answer.
But it's
so
ridiculous.
Your question, the next hitter hit a 3-run home run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he
not
needed,
the next hitter.
No, the
but
next hitter flew
few
out the
hitters
center,
later.
lined out to
Didn't
center.
he
The
hit
next guy hit
somebody?
a home run.
Didn't he hit somebody with a pitch too?
Yes,
He did.
So it was an out, then a hit by pitch, then the home run.
So he was already melting down. He should have been out of here. I would have.
No, that just began the meltdown.
I would have.
He went 0-2 on the hitter. Then he took the delay of game. Then he threw one 12 feet high.
He got to go after that.
Well, I was going to give him more leash than that. But I think after it was 2-on, and after he
Hit Colton Wong.
hit Wong, he's done. I'm sitting in my chair saying, he is forked. Take him out. But Tito never
and here's
does
the thing.
that.
Do you want to mention this as your second overreaction?
Yeah, we're going to go to over.
over.
This was number 4
Yeah.
on the list, but we're going to go
Yeah, let's
make it
do
number
it.
2. Jay, you were right. Karinchak is too jacked to be an effective pitcher right
Told
now.
you.
He's too big.
Told you.
Too big.
He walked into that interview room with sleeves off, and my first thought was, this dude got too big in the offseason.
Here's been my problem with James Karinchak since they first got him. Obviously, he's got nasty stuff.
Right.
And when he's right, we saw it last year, right? 2 years ago, he sucked. The year before that, he was great. When he's right and his head is right, he's very good.
Tremendous.
But I can't trust him. You can't be undone by one automatic strike.
No, and he was.
It happened to other guys yesterday. They didn't get undone by it. The next pitch, folks, if you were not watching it, the
Sailed.
very next pitch, right over the catcher's head.
And what the worst part about it was,
Yeah.
if it was a home game, he might pull out of that nosedive.
Yeah.
The crowd
went
went
bananas.
ape shit.
Jay, I said on my podcast this morning, if you were just hearing the crowd, you would have thought it was a World Series home run.
It sounded like a football crowd.
I mean, it was insane.
By the way, Seattle's notorious for having great fans.
Guys,
Yeah.
that is the consequence of having a pitch clock. Now,
Love it. I love it.
Now you putting different things in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's adding pressure and adding
you know
energy.
what? Here's what I'm afraid of. It's gonna end guys' careers. I'm telling you, it will end guys' careers.
Pitchers
and
are
whatever. So be it.
You know what? Pitchers are used to controlling the environment.
The pitcher has always, for 125 years, controlled the tempo of the game, and that's no longer the case.
Love it. And let me tell you something. I feel bad for this guy because I think his career's over already.
That's an overreaction.
No, that's the
No, wait. I'm not talking about Karinchak.
Good. Okay.
So, and I feel really bad. I'm not making a joke. Daniel Bard. Do you guys know who Daniel Bard is?
Yes.
So, for those who don't know, because probably most people don't know, Daniel Bard it was the closer for the Rockies last year.
Okay.
This guy came up 10 years ago, roughly, with the Red Sox, right? He had a tremendous arm, but he got the yips. You know what the yips are?
No.
Can't perform a normal function. You remember Steve Sachs at second base?
Chuck Knobloch?
Chuck Knobloch.
He just couldn't throw. He couldn't.
Mackie Sasser.
He's
a catcher. He couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher. He would do this right here.
Yeah,
Rick Ankiel.
It's a guy. He loses. He just couldn't. He couldn't throw the ball over the plate. He went back to the minors in Boston. He was averaging like over a walk per inning. Like his numbers were crazy. Eventually, he retired, got out of baseball because he couldn't pitch. He had the mental hurdle. Well, he figured it out. Went back to the minors, and last year did a great job for Colorado. Well, he's been terrible at spring training. He's lost his command. And the day before the season started, he went on the injured list due to anxiety.
And so what I said isn't hyperbole. Yes. I don't think it's going to end Karinchak's career.
No.
I had a long conversation with James about this at spring training. And I got to tell you, of all the players, and they all dismiss this, every last one of them, and I think they've been told by their managers, look, don't bitch about it.
Yeah.
It's not going to change.
Right.
So I think that they all wanted to have the unified message. It's good for the game. It speeds it up. Once we get used to this will be routine. Of all the players, hitters and pitchers that talked to me about it, Karinchak was perhaps the most dismissive of it.
Like he didn't care.
He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I go, James, you're ritual. You're fidgety.
Yeah.
You take time between pitches.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I don't need to do it. I did it because I could, but I don't
still
need
did
to.
it.
Last night, it looked like he very much needed it. At one point, Zunino, very smartly, called a timeout so he could go out and talk to his pitcher and tell him, because he was about to take a second ball.
Yes, he was.
He went out and talked to him and said, look, bro, slow it down. Now, here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
You always hear the greats, Jordan, Brady, all of the greats at all the levels. They say, well, when did you figure it out? When I was able to slow it down in my head. Things were going 180 miles an hour. We've all been in that situation, whether it's getting up in public and giving a speech, if that's your thing that you hate to do. When you're done, you sit down and you're like, wow, I don't even remember. That was just a blur. Well, the pros, the best of the best, have the ability to mentally slam on the brakes and just slow things down. You could see him gripping with every single pitch.
Absolutely.
I felt terrible for him.
His body language, Mike Polk.
Oh, geez.
Karinchak's dream tonight.
That's kind of funny.
That is good. Karinchak, and first, two things here. His body language out there was terrible.
It was.
He looked, and his breaking ball, he could not command it at all.
And, well, that's why I would have taken him out. I mentioned before I would have taken him out. It made it sound like I would have taken him out because I didn't want to see him melt down.
Right.
That was part of it. He became a one-pitch pitcher.
Right.
And when you do that, it's over. That happened in the White Sox game, too, by the way. The White Sox and the Astros game.
Yes.
When a pitcher is struggling to command one of his 2+ pitches, it's over for that pitcher.
That's right. Eventually in that, especially when France was up, who hit the home run.
Yes.
He was only looking fastball.
That was
he
it.
He was gonna piss on anything else.
Yeah, and he did.
That was it.
They had the discipline to spit on everything.
Yes.
This is if you listen to any Guardians loss, this is exactly what it sounds like. Because we ain't even got to the sticks yet. This is all
I'm
pitching.
overreacting to the sticks.
Oh, yeah, let's more overreaction. By the way, I'm not overreacting to anything, but and it's one game. But go ahead, Mikey.
By the way, Brash was struggling with his slider. If he wasn't throwing that for strikes,
but they were swinging at it,
and the Guardians were chasing it. And I'm like,
he spun himself into the ground, fell on his ass.
That was the snapshot of the game last night. If it wasn't Karinchak,
was Jose
drilling himself into the ground.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they kept swinging at the slider. He wasn't throwing it for strikes.
No.
And Manning, I thought astutely pointed out, don't swing at it.
I know.
It's so good. Even if you swing at it, you're going to miss.
And they're a disciplined team, as you expect that.
Supposedly, they weren't last night.
And then Seawald and Munoz were lights out. Both of those guys.
They got a great bullpen.
Yeah.
They do.
G. Bush, you get to react to my overreaction first here. Steve, take it. The Guardians lineup is trash. They may not score a single run all season long.
I'm not gonna say the Guardians lineup is trash, but I'm gonna tell you what. This is the same broken record I said last year. And it's not about the Guardians. I know people love to talk about the pitching and guys and look at the minutia of every pitch thrown. But the reality of it is this is if the Guardians don't have power, this is the new age. You can't string together 5 to 10 hits in a row to get singles. How did they take
Well,
the
they did it
L?
last year, won 92 games.
Well, guess what? They did not go past the first round.
No, they did go past the first round.
I mean, they didn't.
They lost to the Yankees.
They lost to the
I
Yankees.
mean, the Mets and Dodgers lost in the first round, and they have a ton of power. So
The bottom line is you
Yeah.
can't. You know me. It's championship.
Yeah.
Can they win a championship?
Yes.
Stringing singles together.
Yeah,
Well,
they
here's
can.
the thing.
Wins?
Well,
We don't
they're
even
going to
know.
hit more home runs
they
this
are
year
going
than
to
they
hit
did
more
last
runs.
year.
It's one
Hopefully.
game. The hitting was terrible yesterday.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it was
Let's
bad.
give credit to the other team.
I want
Great pitcher.
to because their pitcher was lights out.
was nasty,
He had his
Castillo.
A game. Bieber did not.
No.
Last night, Bieber's 6-inning stretch was all guts.
No, he had a lot of deep counts.
He had four of the 6 innings. He had a runner hit third base.
Yeah.
He gave up a base hit in every one of the 6 innings. He was not overpowering. Only struck out 3, but he did what he does.
No.
He didn't walk anybody.
No.
He got key outs when he needed them.
Yeah.
I love that for him. I much rather would have had that performance than Castillo because Castillo was a steamroller.
You
But Bieber showed guts in pitching out of some real jams.
Bieber pitched well. Castillo was lights out.
He was-
Completely lights
He
out.
was Cy Young-esque.
You see how we pivoted? Y'all be proving my point.
We'll go back to the
You
hitting.
just went right to the pitching again.
The hitting sucked. I mean, it was one game.
Listen, here's what you're gonna have to find out.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners run because guess what? They got a 3-run homer.
Yeah.
That's how you win. If you think when they got up in the ninth and got 2 hits, I said, yo, it's too late for all that. You got it. Their power numbers.
Josh Bell.
Their power numbers
Yeah,
have to
I
be
think
better.
their power numbers will be better. For one day, they sucked.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
lineup sucked.
I don't even make a reaction over 5 games. Show me a 10-game stretch where the whole team is slumping. That's a problem. Because baseball is a game of slumps. You'll see that stretches, there were stretches last year where Miles Straw hit over 400. He finished 221.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
going to have hot streaks. You're going to have cold streaks. It's the first game of the season. You know this, Bull. Didn't always show up yesterday, though. Usually, pitching is way ahead of hitting to start the season.
There was a lot of games with offense. But
I know it was weird. Yesterday there was
wasn't
a
one
lot
of
of
them.
offense for it. But the old saying goes, pitching is way ahead of hitting this
Yeah.
part of the season. I'm not worried about the Guardians hitting. They will hit. It's just yesterday was a bad.
We have a
bad
football
luck.
mentality in this town. It's such a football town that one game means so much in football. And it's a fine line to walk because you're excited about opening day and you want people to care about the Guardians. So you don't want to say, go F yourself if you overreact to one game because you want people to be passionate and care. But you got to have a balance.
Traditionally, the Guardians are not very good on open day.
It's a marathon.
They've been terrible on opening
It's
day.
a marathon, and the starting gun just went off.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the only thing the Browns and Guardians have in common is they're both bad on opening day.
Yes.
Yeah.
After that, it changes.
What do you got, Mike?
2 more. Overreaction number 4. Take it, Steve. SpongeBob is dead. Oscar Gonzalez was just a one-hit wonder.
No, yeah, that's
I
an
was at
overreaction.
first a little surprised that Will Brennan was in the starting
Yeah,
lineup.
Why was he
I
playing?
was surprised by it, but Tito. Here was my concern.
Yeah.
Oscar Gonzalez, you don't want to ding his confidence.
No, but what they said, it was interesting.
Brennan earned it.
Well, he did, but what they also said on the broadcast, which I hadn't really thought about when they were starting him, is that they're in this first 10 games against the Mariners and A's, they're facing a lot of lefties.
Right.
And so they wanted to get Brennan some at-bats.
Yeah.
Again, especially it's a really tough righty because Oscar Gonzalez
Oh, come on.
against lefties.
Well, no, that happens a lot, though.
I get it, but if you're a hitter, if you're supposed to be one of the main guys, and you come out of spring training and they already talking about platooning you, and you
I don't
No,
know
it's
if
not
they're
a
platooning
platoon.
him.
It's not a platoon.
And by the way, Will Brennan was a bigger prospect than Oscar Gonzalez.
was
Yeah.
and had the first base hit last night.
Yeah.
And looked good at the plate.
At the end of the year,
Yeah.
last year, you can't tell me Will Brennan was more of a better prospect than Gonzalez.
No, Gonzalez.
Well, Gonzalez had performed in the majors.
he was
Brennan
the
hadn't
hero.
really been up.
Yes.
he
but-
ended up being the hero.
I
was
hear
a
you.
little surprised that I thought maybe he'd pinch hit for him in a spot. Of course, they never really had a spot until there were 2 outs in the ninth,
Yeah.
and you're not going to pinch hit in that spot.
No, not for
But
Josh Bell.
I don't think it's anything to be concerned. I think it says a bunch of things. It says that the Guardians, and particularly Tito, love Will Brennan.
It's more about Will Brennan than it is about not trusting Oscar.
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
Oscar being there today.
Will Oscar take that? Will Oscar feel that? Because you got to think about it. He's coming off of spring training when he wasn't batting well.
Yeah.
And so then you come into the season, it's like, okay, well, they got Will. Will's doing his thing. If he's not in the lineup as a young guy, is that going to mess with his psyche?
Maybe Tito wants to see him step up and answer the bell and go 3 for 4 today.
If he can't handle being on the bench for one game, he's never going to make it in the big leagues.
And what is baseball? It's a competition.
That's right.
It's fine that there's a little competition for those at-bats from in the right field spot.
Let's go.
Let's see what you got.
Last
night, Will stepped up and got a base hit.
Yeah.
What are you going to do today?
Right, and they're facing a lefty. Robbie Ray is a tough lefty. Really good.
He is a good lefty.
Yeah.
But, Oscar, I want to see plate discipline out of him.
Absolutely.
That's what we'll be watching for during his at-bats.
By the way, another former Guardians prospect, Will Benson, started for the Reds yesterday, went 0 for 4 strikeouts.
So,
one game, but
good move by the Guardians, right?
Listen, Oscar should come on UCSS like Will did, and maybe he gets his groove back.
Will has a lot of UCSS karma.
I know. And this last overreaction, by the way, has a plus a million line that you guys are going to disagree with me, and that line can be found on BetJack. The time is now, Ohio sports fans. Sports betting is live. You can download the BetJack app today, so you'll be ready to go in on all the action. BetJack, it is Ohio's sportsbook. And Steve, take my last overreaction. Shane Bieber's a terrible teammate, and that's why his teammates purposely choose to never score runs when he's on the mound. It is sabotage. Tell me I'm wrong.
I love that. I agree with that completely. That's
I
funny.
Even dignify that.
That is a funny one.
I can't even dignify that.
I had to.
Yeah.
Obviously not true, but
once again,
Bieber is beloved in that clubhouse.
Again, showing how useless the win stat is for a pitcher. I completely ignore it. Shane Bieber pitched great, doesn't get a win. You had Shohei.
Look at Cease last night.
Dylan Cease, right?
He was
lights
unbelievable.
Out. Shohei Ohtani, great.
Ohtani pitched
doesn't
great.
Get a win.
No
By the
decision.
way, in that Yankees-Giants game, first time ever. Third time ever that you've had 2 opening day pitchers with 10 or more strikeouts. Only the third time in the history of baseball.
And I imagine one of the other 2 was within the last 5 years.
That is correct.
Because it's
I can't remember the game, but it was in the last few years.
How about Aaron Judge?
First at bat.
Boom.
He's good.
61 to go.
Yes.
He's crazy.
It was just, I thought it was a great opening day for baseball.
I did too. Yeah,
a lot of good games, a lot of energy in the crowds, the speed of the game. Watching these games, man, I watched the Cubs-Brewers in the afternoon. That game was 2:14.
Yeah.
And then the Guardians game.
That was the fastest game, I think, wasn't it?
Second.
Was there 2:09?
I think the Tigers game was like 2:04.
Yeah, I did see one that was in the 2:00s.
I mean, there was a few games that went over 3 hours, but they were all like the 10-9 games.
Right.
If you play 10, usually in the past the 10-9 game is 4 hours.
I know what I wanted to ask you. What did you think about Roger Clemens in the booth?
I did not hear that. In what booth?
He was pretty good. Yeah, he was on the Astros White Sox call.
I didn't. That was one game I didn't watch.
Oh wow! First of all, it was a great game.
Good game.
It was a pitcher's duel. Both those guys. He was tremendous.
I did not see
a little
that game.
clunky on the broadcast stuff.
Yeah.
What you would expect.
Sure.
But his insight was unbelievable. He was a little Tony Romo-esque in calling pitches.
Oh, interesting.
Which, if you think about it, we've never really had that guy. We've had the guy that will second guess the pitch that was just thrown. I mean, Tim McCarver, I can't believe he just threw a curveball. Well, then say before the pitch is thrown, the one thing he's not going to see here is a breaking ball.
Right.
Roger was saying, he talked a lot about, and Roger did this as well as anyone, changing your eye level.
Is he going to be on every game?
He's on the ESPN cruise. So, he was with Ravi and Eduardo Perez. I thought that team was really good.
Well, I'll have to watch next time he was on.
Yeah, and let me know what you think of him. Don't judge him on the broadcast, on the machinations of being a broadcaster.
The insight.
Just his insight.
I am curious to hear that.
He was really good.
Because he was kind of persona non grata there for a while.
He was, you're exactly right. No one wanted to touch him because he was steroid user and blah, blah, blah. But I think what he brings to the telecast, and I think ESPN smartly waited until there was enough time.
Yeah.
I think it's been long enough now. A-Rod's on,
nobody cares
some
anymore.
big calls.
Yeah.
So I think that now they've realized, and I think he's going to be a star at it simply because it's in the playoffs, it's all about pitching. All about pitch. Like, what is the pitcher going to throw? And he astutely was saying, I'd come back with another splitter here.
Yeah.
And boom, the pitcher throws a splitter. It was almost, at one point, Ravi joked, we have, the telecom, the pitch com. He's like, It almost seems like they have a line to Roger in the booth, and they're hearing what he would call, and they're throwing it.
You know what's so fascinating is that we get on Tony Romo for calling out every play, and they said, I hate when you try to predict the play, but in baseball, people like it.
We liked it at first.
Yeah, it
when
became
Tony
too
first
much
started
with
doing
Tony.
that. My problem with Tony Romo, more than the calling of plays, is that he feels like he's unprepared for the games.
And that he's perhaps a little too fanish.
Yes, definitely.
You know, like before the Super Bowl, he's like, I can't believe this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, we played 55 of these before.
But I don't know. It was a great day.
I don't have, y'all got to what we call the golden ear. I can't tell the difference between these guys.
Well, we probably aren't overly critical.
By the way, I'll tell you.
You call it.
I hate to say this because he's such a nice guy, but man, when I left here, I put the Yankees, who are they playing? The Giants game on the radio.
Yeah.
Sterling?
Man, listening to Sterling.
Oh.
It's tough.
It's time.
He and Susan are.
Yeah,
I mean, it's painful.
It's amazing because the Yankees are an
it's New York,
organization
for crying
known
out
for
loud.
doing the they want the best of everything.
Yeah.
They have the worst broadcast.
A lot of
broadcast
Yankee
crew.
fans like him, but
It's tradition, though. You know how you always call, you protect yours?
yeah. It's
It's
painful.
a tough listen.
Painful to listen to.
I got a question for you guys before we do 5 minutes on tonight's Guardians game real quick. Hunter Gaddis versus Robbie Ray. But
Right.
listening to the games yesterday as fast as they were, from a radio standpoint, listen to a little bit of Tom Hamilton's call.
Yeah.
They're going to have to change their pacing. Like, it's a different.
Oh, they've already.
100%.
It's like a
You've
different
already-
sport for them.
In
It is.
particular, that was something I'm glad you said that because in the Yankee-Giant game, like especially the big market teams that have 1,000 sponsors to read.
Right.
Like on the Yankee broadcast, it's on the Fan in New York.
Everything is bright. This
Everything
first pitch
has
is
a
brought to you by
sponsor.
The Wiz.
And Susan and John is kind of a slow talker anyway.
Kinda.
And Susan's got to jump in with those reads. Like
yeah, it's tough.
It's
tough.
She
Well,
got cut off a bunch of times.
Even Hammy was a little like you could tell Hammy felt like he was on a treadmill going a little too fast.
Yeah.
Think about it. He's done this for over 25 years.
Right.
He's got a cadence and a rhythm that he likes to follow too. And now he's got to speed everything
You got to change
up.
it. But I think everybody's going to love it. I think baseball, which I've been critical of, and they still are doing a crappy job of getting fans the ability to watch the game. If you have YouTube TV, if you have Dish, if you have the Bally Sports
many
app,
blackouts.
you can't watch the game.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. It has to be fixed. But I do think this is going to attract young fans. Think about it. Most years, if you have one game on a day that's less than 2 hours and 30 minutes,
That's rare.
That's huge. Rare.
Yeah, rare.
There were 6
Yeah.
under 2:30.
It's nuts.
That is going to make a huge difference.
It will.
And the pace, just like there's so much more. It feels like there's more energy in the game.
Yeah.
But
I
based
loved
on
it.
that, Bo, I have
Yeah.
a question, and I was thinking big picture here.
Yeah.
So we obviously cut the game down. I think 27 minutes was the average time. It was shorter than last year. Are the owners now going to get mad that there's half an hour less time for people to buy beer? And
Not if more people come.
So you think it ends up equating out to more money in
Yeah.
the long run on that?
So the mathematical equation is this. If you increase attendance by 10%, and they all still consume the same amount of concessions that they did before, you're making more money. Because
Yeah.
the game, you're not cutting, you're cutting a half hour out of the game.
Right.
Which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But I think more people are willing to say on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, hey, let's go down to the park and watch the game.
Right.
Because it's not going to be a 4-hour hole anymore. And by 4 hours, I mean getting in the car, driving to the stadium, parking, walking to the game, watching the 3 hours, getting in your car and driving home.
Yeah.
That shoots your Saturday.
And the longer games are going to be higher scoring games, so you don't mind because it's going to be more exciting. Now
True.
the 3-hour game is going to be 10-9.
Yeah, right.
I think this is a part of a two-pronged program. Yes, you got the timing right. The reason why people didn't like watching baseball is the level of activity, scoring, and they say it's boring. Second one is it takes way too much time to do a game. You got the timing right. You picked the pace up. Now, find me some more scoring.
Well, there was. I bet you, I don't know what the comparison was to last year.
It
but I
felt
bet,
like more runs
I
than
bet
last
you,
year.
Obviously, the Guardians, the 2 games I watched completely, the Brewers-Cubs and the Guardians-Mariners, there was only a total of 7 runs in those 2 games.
Yeah.
But many of the other games were high scoring.
One other point, this will probably be an overreaction because it's a small sample size of one game. I wasn't impressed with Zunino behind the plate.
No, he had a rough day.
He took it on the
two
chin.
wild pitches. Like, they were wild pitches, but, like, you got to knock them.
Balls that he could have got in front of and stopped.
I'll give him a little time. It's a first-time coach.
Yeah, but his throw to second base,
not good.
The release wasn't quick.
No.
The throw was off.
Yeah, but he has a reputation as a great defender.
I know he does.
You know, maybe he's, who knows?
Yeah, but
adjusting to a new team.
Through one game, it wasn't great.
You got to lean toward. I mean, if you're picking the game tonight, you got to lean towards the Mariners with the big edge in the pitching matchup.
I definitely am leaning towards the Mariners.
And that was my last question. Let's pick a winner tonight. Do the Guardians even themselves out at 1-1, or do they fall into an 0-2 start to the season?
Yeah, I think.
Listen, it's baseball, so you never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
But this guy's barely pitched in the big leagues. Hunter Gaddis, Robbie Ray is a seasoned quality. He's not a superstar, but he's a high quality tier 2 pitcher, and they're at home. We'll see. I don't know. You got to lean towards the Mariners.
I think Seattle tonight, they're playing with house money.
Is this a four-game
series?
Yeah. Then they go to Oakland for 3.
Yeah.
Then they come here and get Seattle 3 more times.
Yeah.
I don't like that. You're playing Seattle 7
weird.
times in the first 10 games.
What I don't like is there's only 5 games in baseball today and no day games.
Yeah. Well, that's common to have that. A lot of teams get breaks in between opening day and game 2.
I understand that because of the rain out, but like, the Rangers are at home. Why are they not playing today?
Yeah, that did seem odd.
What's the odds of bad weather there?
And I think there should be an afternoon game.
Yes.
In the first week of baseball, you should have an afternoon game featured every day.
In fact, 4 of the 5 games today start at 8, 10, or later Eastern, including 3 at 9:40 or later.
Yeah, that's not good.
That sucks.
Go ahead, Mike.
We have a super chat real quick, and Jay, I'm going to ask you to explain this for us because it's directed at you. Whenever we read super chats, as you guys know, it's brought to us by our good friends at PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. We will pivot to the Browns after this, Jay, but Phil Bowman says, Jay, very quickly, can you explain to me the new rules regarding relief pitchers?
There are no new rules.
I think it's all pitchers, but just real quick, for anyone who hasn't been following,
there are no new rules.
The new rule updates for pitchers. You can only step off twice. There's a pitch clock.
Oh, yeah, but that's for all pitchers. So
yeah,
obviously
I think
the
all
pitch
pitchers.
clock.
It just happened to Karen Check yesterday.
Okay, with nobody on base, you're allowed 15 seconds between pitches. That means when the ball is thrown back to the pitcher, the clock starts. You have 15 seconds. With a runner on base, you have 20 seconds. You're only allowed 2 disengagements per at-bat. I didn't really see that become an issue at all
By the way, I thought there was an interesting part of that I don't know that I realized until yesterday. We were saying that you can only throw to first 2 times. That's actually not true.
No, it's disengagements. 2 disengagements. You can come off the rubber twice.
No, you could throw to first more than 2 times.
Yeah, you can, but you got to get him.
On the 3rd time, you have to get him, otherwise it's a balk.
Yeah, no, that was the way. Yeah,
right.
No,
I didn't realize. I was thinking you couldn't throw over a 3rd time.
No, because then
you'd be really
the runner
screwed.
could stand halfway between first and second.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he could just walk to second base.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And there was a situation.
Karen Check got caught up where he threw over twice.
Yeah, in the Cubs Brewers game,
and he did that for one reason. He was running out of time.
I know.
He was trying to slow things down.
Some people are not going to like that.
It's fact, man.
And I know I already saw one person.
And by the way, the runner ran on the next pitch. It was a full count.
I love it. Love it. I'm with you. I love the new pressure on these guys. Now, most guys will adjust. Some won't.
When Karen Check first threw over, I thought, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Then I realized, it's a full count. He knew the runner was going. It was actually smart to throw over.
Right,
because he knows the runner's going to go. You hope that he's leaning and you get him hung up.
That's right.
So I didn't mind that he did that at all because you knew he was going to run on the next pitch anyhow. And it was a full count.
By the way, in the Mets-Marlins game, they called an automatic strike on Jeff McNeil, the hitter, because Pete Alonso took too long to get back to first base.
Oh,
I didn't see that.
I saw that.
Which is crazy. I didn't even know that was part of it.
I didn't know that was part of it either. You know, Tito brought up there were no cameras, but it was just a conversational thing with the reporters. He had an interesting point. He's like, what I don't like on the restart rule is after the out is made, the clock starts, but what happens on the play where the catcher's backing up first base? He's got to come all the way back to home plate and get set and he just ran 90
True.
feet.
I
Tito,
never noticed that as an issue yesterday, but
it will become an issue at some point.
They may have to clean up a couple of things,
Yeah.
but so far, I love it.
And
I love
basketball, you got to get back on defense.
Be
You
quick.
gotta get
Let's
back
go.
on defense.
The one
I like
point
that the batters weren't stepping out really in the box.
Right. The
90
last
feet?
point I want to make on this is I have no idea how this is the case. Absolutely none. It's unbelievable to me. I'm not going to say it changed the outcome of the game last night, but it definitely changed what happened in the 9th inning after the call. The fact that a foul tip is not reviewable
It's
blows
ridiculous.
my mind.
I don't know how baseball has not fixed that.
It
That's
blows
ridiculous.
my mind because last night what should have been another 3-2 pitch to a hitter instead left a runner on base, and the meltdown was underway.
And my final word is, I don't know how all the other umpires missed it also.
I don't either.
Mikey?
One of them usually hears it.
AccuTrack would have got it.
Oh, the crowd was so crazy.
It was easy to see in real time. I saw it.
Mikey?
I thought it was pretty obvious. Let's pivot to the Browns, though, real quick, and talk a little bit about our guy, Kevin Stefanski. DraftKings and FanDuel released their Coach of the Year odds for the upcoming 2023 NFL season, and Stefanski's odds came in at 25-1. Here are the favorites to win. Campbell of Detroit, 10-1. Sean Payton in Denver, 12-1. Matt Eberflus, Chicago, 13-1. Robert Saleh in New York for the Jets, 16-1. Frank Reich, 20-1 in Carolina.
Reich.
And if you take the next graphic here, Steve, there are 5
tell you
people
why
tied
Frank Reich.
with Stefanski at 25-1 odds. It's Brandon Staley in
Who was
Los
6
Angeles.
through 8?
Well, it was tied. I'll get you the other ones in a sec, but it didn't make sense for the graphic. You have Dennis Allen, Pete Carroll, D'Amico Ryans, Staley, and Stefanski at 25-1. And fellas, I love those odds actually.
Can
I'll
you
be honest
show me
with you.
now what you notice is
They're all new coaches.
well the coaches
A lot of them up top.
The coaches of the teams that are expected to be Super Bowl contenders and have been Bengals, Bills, Chiefs,
Their guys never
and
win.
Eagles, they're gone.
That's why Belichick didn't win
And
the award
Belichick,
as
right,
many times
right.
as he should have.
Because the coach, it's not who necessarily was the best coach.
No.
Because how would you even really determine
Well,
that?
if you think about this,
it's the most
of
surprising good team.
Many times, the guy that wins, it's his first year. When Stefanski won, it was his first year.
Right.
Other coaches recently, they were first-year coaches. Look at the top of the odds there. It's guys, obviously Sean Payton's not in his first year, but it's his first year with a new team.
Right.
Dan Campbell is a guy that took a big step last year.
Right. Well,
And
the reason he's up there is because the Lions are a hot team that people are picking that was not a playoff team.
Right.
That could be a Super Bowl contender. And the reason you're seeing
Frank Reich's new in Carolina.
Right. Eberflus is where the hell's Eberflus?
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. The reason 4 of those 5 coaches are in the NFC is because the NFC is much more wide open than
It
the
is.
AFC.
Yep, I agree.
And then Robert Saleh is there because the Jets are probably one of the most likely AFC teams, along with the Browns,
take a big step.
that could make the playoffs that didn't make it last year.
You're right.
And
that's what they look for.
I don't
Big
understand.
improvement.
Frank Wright, y'all might go 500. You just got. I mean, I don't even. They don't even got
I
a
don't know.
quarterback.
That doesn't make sense to me at all. I think Stefanski's odds are probably where they should be. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
you know.
I thought so too. 25-1. I mean, if it was even, Steven, it'd be 32-1. There's 32 coaches.
Right.
But he's got a slightly better than average chance of winning.
Yeah.
But again, it's where they were last year.
Right. Yeah.
And they could be one of the teams that takes a
Right.
nice jump, wins +5 next year, and makes the playoffs.
It basically goes to the most successful surprise team.
Well, here's the thing.
That's basically what it goes to.
I'm gonna just say this. He should be higher than that. He should be higher than that. You know why? Because nobody in the national media thinks Deshaun Watson is gonna play well. Nobody.
But that's the point, G.
Well, hold on.
If you don't think the Browns are going to – if Vegas doesn't think the Browns are going to be good, then his odds are not going to be as high.
But if they don't believe that he's going to play well, and he does play well, all of a sudden he's at the top of the ticket. Because they're going to say Deshaun Watson was finished.
But you could say that about any bad team
But no.
that you think is bad.
No. But Deshaun Watson is the storyline.
I think I don't agree with you that the national media thinks Deshaun Watson is bad.
Listen, if you look at any Browns poll, we just did a poll the other day where they had Pickett at 11 and the Steelers, and the Ravens without a quarterback 12, and the Browns were 20.
That's one poll.
I could give you multiple polls. I've never seen one
But that's
poll.
not just about the quarterback.
I've not seen one poll that has a power ranking poll has the Browns over 20. None. Not one.
I don't think that means. I don't know.
That just means the national media.
I think they are. I think in general, Bull, I don't know about everybody, but I think in general, the temperature of the national media on Deshaun Watson is
zero.
We need to see it.
Yeah,
we
I
need
guess.
to see it
I just
again.
haven't heard much. I feel like there's not been much talk about him right now. I don't know. Maybe
Probably because the way he played the last 6 games. By the way, Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is the city running smoothly? Everything is. You had some business to take care of with your mayoral job.
Yeah, a little board meeting this morning.
Good.
But I will tell you that I'm coming in on this Deshaun Watson. I would agree with you, Jay. I mean, the world is lukewarm on Deshaun Watson.
Well, he's got something to prove.
They're
right
like
now.
they don't care. They're moving on.
And I think that's the proper temperature to have on him. Is lukewarm.
Vegas is trying to get people to bet, right? That's what. And the odds are there's a good chance the NFC coach will be the coach of the year because the NFC is completely wide open and the AFC has more teams at the top. That's why Stefanski is where he is.
And G, to your point, and while that's fair, Bull,
yeah,
I'm actually, and usually when we get in split panel debates here, I tend more to lean towards Bull. I'm with you on this one.
You think you're little Bull, you're baby Bull. I tend to be more like Bull.
I do.
You're baby
we think
Bull.
alike. No, but I'm actually with G on this one. I think
it's the Northeast in you.
If Watson balls out, which I think he will, and they win 11, 12 games this year, which I think is realistically a possibility for this team, playing a last-place schedule. They go from worst to first, which we know happens all the time.
Then you're
By the way,
I did. I put some money on it
I'm going to
yesterday.
admonish Mike here right now. I'm going to admonish Mike because you fell into the cardinal sin that a lot of people fall into.
What's that?
Listening to you?
Being baby Bull.
No, that's not listening to me is what a lot of people they fall into, and they're stupid. You're usually smart. Here's the thing. Last place schedule is the most overused term.
Yeah, I know.
It's only
that was
3
last
games.
year, and besides,
4
it was
games
last
now.
year.
It's first of all, it's last year, and it's only 4 games. Now it's 4 because of
everything
the
else is fixed.
The other 13 games, everybody's playing the same teams in the division.
So that's funny. Why is the last place team in the division worried about the last place schedule? Just win games.
Yeah, that's right.
Just win games.
And to Bull's point,
I can't worry about
because
that.
these teams were awful last
don't mean
year.
nothing.
Doesn't mean
We
they
know
will
there's
this
always
year.
3 or 4 teams that are new to the playoffs,
At
sometimes
least.
5,
Yes.
and
We-
5 teams fall off.
We were bad.
We were
Right.
bad. Hopefully we're not next year.
Correct that, right?
Yeah, right.
Stop worrying about everything
care
else.
of what you can take
Right.
care of.
Take that in consideration. You was in last place last year.
Right.
No expectations.
What place were you in?
Last.
Which one?
Last.
Okay.
All the time last.
7 and 10?
Yes. Under 500.
But it was where?
You're in last place.
Okay.
Now, when you're in last place and you got a quarterback that got controversy, they was worried about if the Browns was even going to be on TV. They was trying to black them out. I was like, y'all got blackout rules? And even they're like, yeah, we're not putting Deshaun Watson a number 4. Listen, they was not having it last year.
Yeah.
Now, this year, if he comes back, Stefanski, it was left for dead. He's the next one on the hot seat. He comes into this season, he opens up a little more, he's showing his bright side.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he gives you a playbook that's fun, entertaining, and Deshaun Watson plays well.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they go from last place to making the playoffs or even winning the division. Kevin Stefanski is the number 1 guy people talking about.
Mike,
what a great job with Kevin Stefanski.
Can I see
A lot of
who
ifs
finished,
in there, but you're right.
Who are 6th, 7th, and 8th in the odds, or can you tell
Yes,
me?
it's McDaniel at 22-1.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson at 22-1, and Shane Steichen, the new Colts coach, at 22-1, and they're all tied for 6th.
I mean,
Here, I don't bank on that. Your work on the field shows me what place you'll come in. Because some people who will start the year not even on the radar screen could end up being the one.
Sure.
This is here. Everybody knows I love the Browns. I love them to a fault, right?
So do I.
I love them to a fault.
Sometimes I
What
wish
I
didn't
want to
love
know
them
is
so
this,
much.
and I just watched the Maryland Terrapins rebuild their women's basketball team, right?
Yes, and we're going to talk about that
I
coming up.
want you to know this. We had problems last year on the Browns. All I want to know as a fan, let me know that you're in the laboratory. You're back in the lab.
Yeah.
Right? You ain't got to show me a bunch of, but let me know. I'm waiting for some confirmation that people
Are you
in the
pleased
laboratory.
with the moves that they've made? They've made big moves
The
in the
move,
offseason.
listen, we try to fill every hole. I give them credit for that, right? You did that. Now, the people that need to be in the laboratory, let me know they're in the laboratory because I'm still waiting for those smoke signals to come up.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And here, you don't have to write a big article. Send me something on Instagram. Let me know the dude is in there working, right? That
Right.
people are showing up at 8 a.m. here and not leaving until late in the afternoon, right?
Yeah,
I'm still waiting. So remember to the Browns, right? Let your fans know that work is going on, that we're getting it done. We're getting prepared. Because you don't get prepared, Jay, in September.
See, now I'm even more cynical. I don't even the work is great. I mean, everybody's doing the work. All 32 are doing work. Quarterbacks, they're all throwing to their receivers. They're all in the weight room. They're all doing work is the bare minimum. I don't care. That doesn't impress me. Show me the baby. Don't tell me about the labor. Show me the baby.
You won't see
and the baby is winning games.
But you won't see the baby until
right.
But
and that's when I'll decide whether or not I like the moves in the offseason.
But I still need to see the signs. There's signs. You have to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
I can't be in San Tropez putting in the work.
No,
I'm not saying that
know.
you are.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't say you're in Hawaii doing the work.
Well, all of a sudden we've seen a ton of videos of Deshaun Watson working
Which
out.
is very interesting.
We got all kind of workout videos.
I think
bro.
Deshaun and his people were watching this show.
Hey.
I know for a fact.
Dancing to the oldies.
And by the way, it was too reactionary. It was too like, oh wait, he's being criticized for not working out.
Hey.
We got any old workout videos? Get them out
look,
there.
hey, man.
It
In
looked too
fact,
fun.
at least one person on this panel, I'm not naming any names, knows for a fact that at least somebody in Deshaun Watson's camp has watched this show.
Everybody watch.
Yeah.
You got to watch. What you mean? This is like.
And
I'm with you, Bull.
Yeah.
It was way too like that to me didn't make me say, I guess he is working. It makes me say I said, I guess they are watching.
Was it a little too? It was too.
It was too obvious.
It was too much of a sizzle reel.
No, not just the sizzle reel, because they, guys can do that. But the timing of it was
was interesting.
hilarious to me. I'm like, what?
Be clear to this, so people be clear to this. And these are for the out of towners that don't, that may have just arrived here.
Do I count as just arrived?
No, you've been here a while.
Long enough.
You're one of us.
You paying taxes.
Whether you want to be or not.
I am.
So the people that just arrived here, you may come from a place and you think that Cleveland is some country town or some small place, but they're very astute here.
Yeah.
They have their eyes on you. You're not going to fool us. We've seen the best.
The only thing you're right about that, but also now on the fault category, we're too damn loyal.
Yeah, well, here.
We are
no doubt about
damn loyal.
Really just to the Browns, not the other teams.
The relationship that we have with the Browns has been an abusive relationship. And we're the abused, and we keep coming back.
What's that thing called where you relate to your abuser? What's that thing called? Something.
There is
something syndrome.
Munchausen syndrome.
There's Munchausen. No.
Yeah, Munchausen syndrome. Is that it?
I feel like it's something else.
It's where you almost become loyal to your enslaver.
Yes.
To your, it happens oftentimes when people get kidnapped.
Right.
They then look at that person as their lifeline.
Right.
And I believe
that's
that
how
the
the Browns
relationship
fans are
we
with
have
their-
in this town, and it's been that way for a long time.
The one thing
we keep getting abused. We got slapped 0-16. You know what we did? We threw a parade. We threw a parade.
We never really came back from that.
Jay, the one thing, and
I was furious.
I will give the New Yorkers this. This is what I will give the New Yorkers.
They don't tolerate any
bullshit. They will turn on you in a heartbeat.
And they should.
In a heartbeat.
Because they're spending their hard-earned dollars.
They were booing Aaron Judge last year.
I know they did.
That's the only thing. But that's the only thing to keep you honest.
Yes.
Yeah, I like.
It's
so
a pressure
I told
cooker
you
out
there was a motto that we said in Chicago. An old veteran told me this. You're only good as your last game.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, so what was Deshaun Watson's last game? It wasn't really good.
No, that's why.
That's why you're in the laboratory.
But you know what? When you look on social, most of the Browns fans are going, he's going to be the MVP next year. I'm like, man, this crew keeps going back to that hot stove. You know the kid that touches the hot stove is like, ooh, that's hot. And they never go back again.
But listen.
Our hands are nothing but scar tissue.
I will say this. Listen, we got two camps of Kool-Aid drinkers. One that think that he's going to win the MVP next year, and the other one that think Baker Mayfield is going to be a quarterback somewhere.
I don't even bother my time with that.
It's two different Kool-Aid drinkers.
But I'll tell you what, the 6-0 Kool-Aid, I told you at the top, I said, G, don't do it. Don't do it. And you double down, you go 6-0.
Remember Quincy? Was it Quincy? What was his name?
Yeah, Quincy.
Yeah.
With the better than 50% chance they go 6-0.
I was just like, what is this? Where is this coming from?
Hey, listen, man.
Kool-Aid is fun to drink.
Kool-Aid is fun to drink,
Very
man.
sugary.
Unless it has cyanide in it.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Then you become. Then it's a Jamestown tragedy.
I saw the Knicks fans turn on Gerald Wilkins in the guard in the playoff game.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, and then he gave him the double bird on the way to the timeout. I was like
that.
I was like, what is going on here? And then when they put him back in, they start cheering for him. I said, what is going on here?
Now you need me.
But why we are psychoanalyzing ourselves, right? But let's be clear, we not only get fooled by the players, we get fooled by the ownership. Listen,
that's what I mean more than
when it comes to that money,
it's mostly we're fooled by the owner.
I have never heard somebody else say so many times and count another man's pockets. We will sit here and be like, he ain't got the money. I swear he ain't got the money. He'd be like, did he show you the books? No, he ain't seen the books, but I believe him.
Are you talking about the Guardians now?
That's the Guardians. When we talk,
oh no, there's plenty of evidence that he ain't got the bag.
I just want to see the statements.
Well,
no.
But plenty of people criticize him for that.
But when you get to the Browns,
they'll
tell you in a heartbeat who they don't need. Now you terrible. Like, you ain't good. You came in what place? Last place.
Last place.
We don't need him.
But
he's too expensive.
Right. That is stupid.
What? Do you get extra credit at the end of your year, tax years, from saving?
Well, you could spend your money in other places. But I don't give it. There's always ways around the cap, so I don't care. But I wonder if we have this, Mikey. I don't know.
Drop
but
some money on the Milwaukee
Kevin
Bucks.
Stefanski, 25-1 to win Coach of the Year. What's his odds of being the first coach fired? Because I bet you he's high on that list.
Give me 1 second. I'll look that up.
I don't know if they set odds on that.
They do. I don't know if they're out yet. They absolutely do. First coach fired.
That's macabre.
They are not out for 2023 yet, but there are odds.
I guarantee he'll be in the top 5
because it's boom or bust.
Yeah, 100%.
If he balls out, he can win Coach of the Year. But if he's terrible 6 games, Stefanski can be on the streets.
He could be. Now, we
All
don't
right,
want that to
let's
happen.
keep it to Stefanski.
Yeah.
Yesterday, during this New Heights
God.
podcast with Travis Kelce and his brother Jason. By the way, if you haven't checked that out, put
These
that
guys
number
are
2 on your must-see list
hilarious.
behind UCSS.
Yeah.
It's must-see every single show. Jason was doing this funny bit where he took a picture of all the coaches from the owners' meeting, and hilarity absolutely ensues, but pay particular attention to the line on Travis's line on our coach, Kevin Stefanski.
Before we play it, Mike, we got to beep out the Fs, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
I took the exact clip from Twitter, which beeps it out for us.
Oh, they did. Yeah, okay.
It's so much funnier.
It was way better in its pure form.
Just so the folks know, every time it's a bleep,
it's an F.
He's saying an F-bomb.
Oh, you'll understand.
Okay.
Steve, let's keep our fingers crossed that tag board
Hold on.
works.
Have you guys seen this yet?
I haven't seen it.
I saw it.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Be prepared to lose it.
I haven't seen it.
Steve, take it full. I'm going to hit play.
Roll it and hold your breath. We can hear it.
You show players this picture, and they have to name each coach in this picture. Let's give it a Travis Kelce try right now.
I'm the worst with names, but I can tell you team.
Starting on the left.
Chargers, Giants.
Yep.
San Fran. Who the f*** is that guy?
No chance you're getting this one. 0% chance.
No clue. Jets. After Jets, nothing. I've never seen that man in my life.
So good.
I mean, 3 in a row. I have no idea. Those dudes are.
That was our offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen for the Colts. Come on, Travis.
So who's next to Dougie P?
You should know that one. You should definitely know that one.
I know D'Amico. Who's the other one?
You should know him because he's arguably your biggest rival.
Oh, that's Cincy. He's a dog.
Start with Matt Foley.
Cowboy. Matt Foley.
What's his name? Matt Foley.
Again, never seen this fucking guy in my life.
It's my defensive coordinator.
Miami. God damn it. There's no way that guy coaches in the NFL. Then Pete Carroll, Harbaugh, obviously, the next Rivera, Broncos country, let's ride. Gordon Bombay, we got the Packers, and then no clue, none Bills.
That might be the funniest clip I've ever seen from a podcast.
No way.
What's his name? Matt Foley. Not
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Look, no way that guy coaches the NFL.
And he called.
I love that he said there's no way that guy coaches in the NFL. There's no way.
3 in a row. I don't know who the hell
He
they are.
coaches your hometown team.
He's a middle-aged GQ model. He's not an NFL coach.
You know who Gordon Bombay is?
No.
I do, but I don't know why.
What's that?
No, No, who he is in real life.
no,
No, it's McVay. Who Gordon? No, he's not a real person.
No, Gordon.
Gordon Bombay was the coach. What's his name? Emilio Estevez from the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I knew it was some fictional character, but I didn't know from where.
He calls McVay Gordon Bombay. I love that he goes Broncos country.
God,
He didn't know any of
good.
their name. He didn't even know the Bengals coach.
He's like, who is
This is
this?
their rival.
That's
He's
their
like,
rival.
I know.
He's like, who is this dude?
And then he said, you should know him. It's your
Bengals
rival. He goes,
dog.
oh, yeah, he's a dog.
That was so funny.
Yeah,
Travis
it really
Kelce
was.
is my white whale guest. on
Oh
the show,
my
by the way.
God! If we,
He's
I
my
had,
number one white whale
We had
guest.
him on the radio show once, but it was before he went to the NFL, and he was awesome.
Oh, was it?
It was when he was still at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
This is what happens. See, when you already rich, you can say you can curse. Before you get, it'll be funny.
By the-
Before you get rich, you can't curse.
By the
like
way, on my new podcast with Bet Rivers, and even my TV podcast, which I put out, I can curse, fully curse.
Well, you should be able to.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, we talked about it. It was
Yeah.
one of the big discussion points when we launched this show.
Yes.
Where's the line?
And we've gotten away with some things.
We
but
do here
yeah.
and there, but like when you watch the genre that we're in,
Yeah. Guys curse. That's
they're
what
all
they do.
doing it. You know why?
Yeah.
Go to a game with 10 guys and count how many times you hear it.
Exactly.
It's the vernacular of the sports fan.
Yeah, not to do it just to do it.
No,
but
you
it's
don't.
part of-
No,
In conversation,
it can't
guys
be
do
gratuitous.
that.
But
I still can't do it. You know, people my age, we say a word and often.
What'd you
And
say?
Hey, listen, people of my generation, if we had a podcast and I had people on, the N word is going to be flying around. I had to edit all my stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now
Well,
look, you can't
use that word.
unless you're a rapper. You can't get that off.
No.
You
I
can't
have
get
no
no, and I
interest
don't
in
think
getting
anybody
that off.
I would not advocate anybody using that word.
You're
I don't think
tripping.
you should.
I have
Brad,
zero interest in getting that
Honest,
word off.
honest,
tripping.
even in that vein, I think
would never use that
I
word.
think
You're
that the
tripping.
word should never be used. And here's the thing. I understand that, and culturally that is acceptable. I understand that. But I also think if you want to eradicate that word from everybody's mouth, then how can you use it?
The locker room is
Yeah.
there's a funny place.
I know.
Brad.
Listen, I bet
is
I've
what it
seen it
is.
firsthand.
But that
I don't advocate
Right.
it.
that video, I could watch it 50 times and laugh every
I know
time.
it's great. It's
I mean,
great.
who the F is that guy?
I know.
Oh,
And
man,
he's
you-
a GD.
Yeah. You gonna hear that? You gonna hear those words all the time. You hear those words. They was playing a clip of Caitlin Clark the other day.
Yeah.
Talking to Haley Van Lith for Louisville.
Well-
She's in-
Oh, she's about to get her ass kicked
Well,
tonight, right?
I don't know.
You know what? I am
don't-
fascinated
I
to
don't
see
know.
what happens in
I
that
don't
matchup.
know
I
here.
think Carolina will win.
I don't-
South
depending on
Carolina.
But-
depending on how they call it. See, they call it like they call
Right,
it against
yeah.
us.
What are they gonna let-
If they
yeah,
call
what-
it against us,
Yeah.
and they put us in harm's way. I was
Right.
just telling somebody yesterday.
Is the-
I said, what if they put South Carolina in harm's way, and South Carolina can't bang like that? That's gonna open the door for Iowa all
Yes,
day
it
long.
will.
Is
This
Iowa,
gonna-
how good is Iowa besides her?
well, you can run them out the gym. We ran them out the gym, but I
Yeah.
said, but if South Carolina got a lot of stuff. They got size, they got athletes,
have depth.
they got power, they have it all, and they keep coming at you in waves, right? What happened to us was we got in foul trouble early, right? And that's what did us in. So I mean, we had two studs sitting on the bench for the most of the second quarter, right?
And that's when you guys scored, I think, 9
Yeah.
points. That's when the game was won.
That's when the game was won,
Not second
right?
quarter.
I said, what if you flip that today? See, because if they let them play the same way they played against us, they're gonna run Iowa out the gym.
Right.
I said, but if they call it so tight that South Carolina can't bang around like that,
Right. Then it's-
because they don't have a lot of skill players, right? And I said, if you let that flip around, Caitlin Clark gonna pick them apart tonight.
By the way, on all of that, for those of you that don't know, your daughter is a member of Maryland, Lady Terps Elite 8 team.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't end the way you wanted to, I know you couldn't be more proud. We're proud. We were rooting for you every step of the
Appreciate
way.
it.
How was she
You
after the
fought
game?
like crazy in that game, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. She was so she appreciates all the support out of Cleveland, and
and we
number
saw you
two-
on TV in the
Yeah,
camp.
yeah. They found me in the crowd. And so
You're easy to find.
Hard to miss Brad.
I sat there, and for her, it was a learning experience because
Right.
we were just one game away from the Final Four.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere, right? I want to tell you, the atmosphere is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it because you know the Final Four is in Cleveland next year.
It is.
Right.
Yeah. So
And the Final Four is in Cleveland. I want to make sure the city is prepared because one of the things that went down was You got to think of things like this. You got people coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Some of those games in early, some in late. You know, funny things I found in Greenville, South Carolina.
Right.
On the Monday night game, we couldn't find a place to eat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the game was 10 o'clock.
Right.
Like, where are we going to eat at?
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see Cleveland host that event.
Right. So we should be able to do it right. But I tell you what.
Congrats.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, she played her ass off.
Yeah.
She was,
Yeah.
I mean, filling the box score.
She learned a lot. She learned a lot.
That's
right?
what you want. Take that growth
She was
step.
just a sophomore.
McNuggets has a read.
Sophomore.
It is 12 o'clock, which means the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, as always, is sponsored by Colleague Racing. Colleague Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. Earl will have a race report for us towards the end of the show. And we got a couple more things we got to do today. And I want to start, we teased it yesterday, but a hypothetical drunk idea Cavs trade that I want to throw at you guys.
Really drunk.
Just for fun.
Drunk.
Just for fun.
How many beers in were you?
I did it actually. I was sober when it happened, but I felt drunk because it was so silly, but kind of fun at the same time. It theorized while I was playing basketball on Monday. So let me preface this before anyone aggregates this. This will not happen. I understand it will not happen, but it's still fun to have some fun with some trade machine rumors. So, Damian Lillard wants out of Portland. He's very, 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 very good at basketball. In a hypothetical world, would you trade Darius Garland for Damian Lillard straight up, knowing what you know about the rest of this Cavs roster?
Yes.
Brad?
No, because that's never going to happen, like you said.
I know, that was my first answer.
But in theory,
let's
if
just
it could
say
happen,
that.
So in theory, would I do it?
Yeah.
If I could get Damian Lillard now?
Right.
And I was built like the rest of the team that I have now?
Yes.
Yes, I would do it because he would put me over the hump, right? He could,
I think so, too.
He'd put me over the hump. But that would be Portland side. On the other side, they're not getting enough in exchange for Lillard.
I think they'd want more. They would have to have more.
But they're getting a young player who they'd be able to have for a while.
Yeah, but is that enough for a true superstar? Like, he's in Donovan Mitchell's class. Many tell you he's better than Mitchell.
Right. Oh, yeah, no, it would take more. That's why it's a hypothetical. I think there are a lot of Cavs fans that wouldn't make this trade. Now, I would, obviously, because...
Would you?
I'm not making that trade.
Why not?
Well, let's hear why.
Because I think if you look at what Damian Lillard is hitting, he hit for about 32 a game. I look at it like this. If Donovan Mitchell was not on this team from where Darius Garland was last year, Darius Garland would be averaging about 28 this year.
I don't believe that.
Easy.
28?
Easy.
Hell, he's
easy
had
28.
games this year where
Come on,
he
gets you 50.
Here's
it ultimately comes down to this, though. Is Garland the player that Lillard is?
Well, here's what I'm saying. When you look at the numbers, he's averaging 22 now. You act like 28, that's 6 points.
That's a lot, though, G.
He has the ball every play. He now
hear you.
splits that
I think
so. Here's
and plus, here's the thing.
Brad, you think he'd average 28 a game?
No. Here's the difference. I mean, yeah, you could do it. Yeah, I say you could do it. What I would say, though, is this, G. The difference is Lillard can control a game.
Right.
I don't think Darius can. He controls stretches. Lillard can control a whole game. So if you put Lillard and Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, the windows here, you have to win within a 3-year window in the NBA now because otherwise pieces are moving, right?
Sure.
So you got a 3-year window.
And we don't know how long we got
So
Donovan.
we only got this window here.
Yeah.
So you have to make moves now, not long-term moves, but
how old is he? How old is
Lillard is 32, turns 33 in September of this year.
So you'll be looking like this, G. If I insert him, can I win right now?
This is all about trying to win a championship next year.
Yeah.
It's really 1 year
to
win a championship.
1 year, but Brad, my biggest concern is you're looking at two guys who need the ball a lot now.
Yeah.
In Lillard, he's a guy who has to have the ball in his hands even more than Garland does. My fear would be the chemistry there and trying to figure out who has the ball in close and late.
The high volume.
And who is that volume guy? Because it can't be both of them.
To me, I think if you look at Donovan Mitchell and you look at Damian Lillard, they almost the same player. It's almost the same dude. Damian Lillard is a better ball handler, but
I don't think it is.
But he's a volume shooter. They shoot a lot of threes, and they both need the basketball. Darius Garland, he hasn't shown to be dominant off the ball, but one thing Darius Garland can do is spot up shoot, and he ain't that old. Like
I like the young.
I don't worry about the age only because I feel like I don't think we got Donovan Mitchell that long, and so I want to I want my best. I love Darius Garland, and in reality, there's very little I would trade him for that would be realistic. because this is not realistic. But we're playing La La Fantasy Land, and I'm like, well, I probably don't have Donovan Mitchell for more than a year or two after this. So I want my best chance to win a championship next year.
Now here's the thing. Mikey, he picked the wrong trade, to be real truthful about it.
Yeah.
So what's the right trade?
The right trade is if I would make this move all day if you was talking about Luka. Now, for me,
Well, yeah.
Luka.
no. But
Can they throw in a space shuttle for you?
Luka's actually a worse fit for this team.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is.
But
Yes, he
caliber
is.
of player.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No, he's a Brad, if you want me to say or
No, go ahead and say it, because you're right on point. Keep coming.
Luka, as good as Luka is, and he is unbelievable, top 5 talent in the league. He'll be a first-team All-NBA guy. Luka cannot do anything off the ball. He needs the ball. His usage rate is historic. I think it might be the highest usage rate this year in the history of the NBA.
Right.
Luka can't play with Mitchell.
No, I agree with that.
Lillard and Mitchell both need the ball, but they also can play off the ball in ways that Luka can't.
I done heard. Listen, Luka, I'm gonna tell you like this. He is smart enough to figure it out. If you said that I could get Luka, that's like saying I don't know if I could play with LeBron. Why you think LeBron keep getting new people? Because he's that good, and you'd be like, I at least got to try it.
And in fairness to G, and listen, maybe part of the reason Luka doesn't do anything off the ball is because he's never had any really good teammates.
I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie, Porzingis.
I mean, Jalen Brunson's turned into a pretty damn good player.
But here's the thing: did not Brunson thrive? Did he not get a big time deal?
So you already have one ball dominant guy, right? Injecting a guy, because Luka's got a hell of a talent. I don't think that the two mirror. There's no marriage between the two.
Gary's scrolling for LeBron.
Right. It's not. I mean, there's a specific type of person that you have to bring in with this team, right?
Yeah.
Luka is a guy. This is why the thing in Dallas is going south, right? It's going
Kyrie's
south.
already complaining, by the way.
It's going south because
it took this long.
Right. It's going south because you have two guys that never was going to work. It looks good on in a the fantasy league paperwork.
Well, look at how Durant and Irving worked out. I mean, Irving and LeBron. Irving and anybody.
Right.
Here's my.
He's going to end his career early.
Yeah,
If you look at it, if you watch how Darius Garland plays, you gonna give up some of the stuff that he has as far as his high handoffs, his lobs, his pick and roll. By the way, Garland is almost unstoppable on the pick and roll, especially when he's doing it rolling to the rim and he got bigs to do that. Damian Lillard is great. Don't twist it. I wouldn't. If they made the move, would I cry? No. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, Cavs is still good. However, I still don't believe Donovan Mitchell and Damian Lillard is a great fit.
Yeah, that's my concern too.
It's like, okay, well, y'all gonna take turns shooting. I can see that happening. So for
There's
me,
only so many shots in a game.
the only way the Cavs, and this is the easiest way the Cavs get to the championship, is when Giannis woke up and became Giannis, or KG woke up and became KG, or Duncan was like, okay, forget Robinson, and he was that guy. They was perennial contenders from jump. And when Mobley keep moving, to me, he's already the defensive player of the year. Watching them all year.
So let me say this.
It would stunt Mobley's growth offensively for sure.
Unless this, I'll point people back to the Pistons in the late 80s. What has to happen is you have two guys, Lillard, Mitchell, never really won anything, right? The way they've been playing.
Right.
In order for them to win, probably have to step their games down to bring somebody's game.
I agree with that.
I agree with
Isaiah Thomas, Dumars. Isaiah steps his game down so Dumars' game can come up. It allows the others to do other things. Lambeer and them start doing more things. Sally and Robin start chipping in, right? And not that Isaiah couldn't do more, but for the benefit of the group. But you have to be willing to sell your soul to say, okay.
I don't know that guys will do that
That's
anymore.
the problem.
I think today's player is too much about themselves and their stats and their numbers. And I think, by the way, that's astutely pointed out by you because Isaiah clearly did that.
Right.
And I think in the long term it benefited him in the terms of how many championships he was able to win.
No question.
But guys today, I don't see them doing
that. Well,
that.
because you Instagram, your Instagram.
All about their brand.
It is. I'm selling my model. I'm coming off of NIL deals out of college. Everything is about me.
But Brad,
no one wants to be Robin.
I think Darius Garland a little different. he's not I've met him a couple times. He's unassuming.
Look at you
He's a good
meeting
kid.
Darius Garland.
He's a good kid.
No, there's no question. I tell you, there's no question.
Because he could have. There's sometimes he could have been chucking up shots this year.
Let me tell you when you're gonna see it, because I like Darius Garland. I play against his daddy. I mean, good dude. He's set up to do the right thing, right? But let me tell you what legends are made of.
Playoffs.
And if you don't thrive in the playoffs, they're gonna be quick to pick you apart about it.
Look at how James Harden.
This is
James
where it
Harden
comes.
has crapped the bed in the playoffs many times.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
Many
now
times.
that's his brand.
That's his brand.
And the guy's an all-time great regular season player.
I bet if you asked all the NBA superstars, would you rather average 45, 10, and 8 in the playoffs but lose? You'd be surprised how many of them would say, give me those numbers, because I'm taking those to the bank.
Right. I'm going to bank
I
with
can
those.
cash in on that. I can't cash in necessarily
Right.
on a championship trophy, even though there's ways you can.
Right.
Yeah, but we ultimately judge NBA players based on trophies.
And I do got to say something. Hey, I was just playing. Hey, people hit me up yesterday. They was like, G. Bush, man, you got a crystal ball.
Yeah.
They was like,
Oh, yeah, the injury.
You got a crystal ball. What did you call out? Listen, Julius Randle.
He's got a voodoo
He got
doll.
hurt that day.
He's got
that
a voodoo
night.
doll.
I had nothing to do with that. I was wishing that on Giannis, not you.
Fact or
not
not,
you.
you have a voodoo doll and you hold it in your hands when our
true.
opponents are playing.
Nah, I
stabbing
can't.
Julius Randle in the leg.
Listen, I can't do that. My mom way too religious.
What
She
he
like,
got a high ankle sprain?
Listen,
He predicted
2-3
it yesterday.
weeks.
I saw that.
Hey, look, it ain't
Well, I
an
don't know
Cavs
if it
next
was,
tonight,
I
by the
know if it was 2-3 weeks because they were holding him out, but I said, dude.
That ain't listen.
That's a
the
big
high,
loss for
the
them in the
high,
playoffs.
Huge
Let me
loss.
tell you, the high ankle sprain took all the rest of my athleticism away. All of it. I used to be able to have one leg jumps. I was ready, and I was high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
I never came back from that ever.
High ankle sprain
Ever.
is tough.
Painful.
That's
But
tough.
very painful.
That's tough.
The Cavs now even have less of an excuse to lose to the Knicks
Yeah,
They
you're
supposed to
right.
smoke them.
in the first round.
They supposed
Yeah.
to smoke
Yeah.
them.
They play tonight.
Cavs Knicks tonight. Huge
Yeah.
They
preview
play tonight.
game.
And this actually does have some implications for home court advantage. It looks
does.
like they'll be the 4-5 matchup.
It looks like it.
Almost guaranteed,
Yep.
but
You never know.
Cavs
Cavs
would
need
really
home
have
court
to fall
advantage.
apart to lose
Yeah, the
that
Cavs
first
had to
seed.
fall
Yeah,
apart.
they're not going to slip below that.
I
They'd
might-
have to almost lose out, right?
Matter of fact, I'm sitting my
fall
guys.
out of 5?
Yeah, to fall out of
but I
4.
mean, what do they have? 2.5?
No,
right
they're
now?
up more than that.
What time's the game tonight? 7:30?
They're up more than that.
30, yeah,
You
7:30.
could actually watch it perfectly into the Guardians game.
True.
Yeah, I might be resting people. I don't want
They're 2.5 up. Oh, no, never mind. They're 4 up. I apologize. They're 4 up. It's over.
Yeah, you're right.
It's over. I'm
All
sorry.
right, let's
it's
do
a wrap.
this. Let's
It's a
talk pivot and go to the Lamar Jackson. We talked about this yesterday in overtime because the news
Yeah,
broke.
let's do a little more.
After our regular show yesterday, we were doing our overtime segment, and the Lamar Jackson news broke, and we chewed on that for quite a while.
Yeah.
But if you didn't hear yesterday, Jeremy Fowler, who I don't question Jeremy. There's a couple guys out there that when I hear their name attached to a story, I say it's legit. Jeremy is that guy. He's always on it. Now, that doesn't mean that he didn't get bad information, but somebody let Jeremy Fowler know that Lamar Jackson, while saying, I don't need to have a fully guaranteed contract, this is the first real money demand we've heard him make, other than 3 for 133
Well,
wasn't going to
again,
do it.
That
don't buy-
don't make no sense.
I don't buy that this is coming from Lamar. I think
It's-
this is coming from the team. There's no way that's coming from Lamar.
No, put the quote back up.
Yeah.
Put the quote back up. The quote was, he, quote, just wants the guaranteed portion of it to be larger than Deshaun Watson. Here's why I buy that.
Well, that's Jeremy Fowler's quote, not.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Jeremy Fowler's quote, but Jeremy is hearing that from one of two sides.
Yeah.
And if the Ravens are telling him that,
Yeah.
then that's what the Ravens were told. The Ravens aren't going to give misinformation on a player's contract. They're just not going to do it, especially a guy they don't want to piss off. And have him walk away completely.
Hold on, Jay. How is he getting more money guaranteed? Because Watson's all money is guaranteed.
So that's the
So
thing.
that's what
We
you're
laughed
saying.
at that.
I was
said,
like, what doesn't make any sense. I was like, what does
but
that mean?
For the sake of this discussion,
Yeah.
let's not parse out how he got the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy is a reputable reporter.
Yeah,
I've known him for years.
Yeah, I'm not saying
We're gonna take it for
Whether
gold.
or not that was the truth,
We're gonna take
Jeremy
it.
Fowler was told by
I'm
one
not-
of two
yes.
camps that that's the deal.
I
I'm not
just don't
talking-
buy that it came from Lamar's camp. I think
I'm
it
not
came
talking
from
about
the-
Lamar's
Jeremy-
camp is Lamar.
I'm not speaking about Jeremy Fowler or whoever.
no.
I'm talking about the words everyone that's
Well,
great.
that's what we laughed
I like,
at
how is
yesterday.
this money You want more money? Did you want a fully guaranteed
He's
deal?
looking for, no, you know what he's looking for? 7 for $300,
Yeah.
but 5 and $240 guaranteed.
That's not going to happen.
I just find that hard to believe.
But for the purpose of this,
We do too.
We
He
have
ain't
to
getting that ball.
agree that it is really a real thing and that we can comment on it. I think it is a real thing.
I don't think this changes anything about what we already thought.
Let me tell you something. The NFL has shown time and time again they will cut their nose off to spite their face. Lamar Jackson, let me give you a clue here, bro. You're not getting what Deshaun Watson got. He's an isolated incident. They put him on the side by himself.
It's not an apples-to-apples situation.
I said you're not going to get that. I said, and you're going to get nowhere. I'm going to tell you this. They're going to force you into an agent because
I've never thought more that he needs an agent than right
because
now.
if you don't get an agent, you're going to empower these other people out here to do the same thing, and they don't want no part of it. And so guess what? They will take you down like they took everybody else down that has ever jumped outside the pocket.
Okay, hold your fire. We got to do a read quickly. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, this NFL talk is brought to us by Lincoln Electric. Lincoln Electric now hiring for great jobs. They are experts in the manufacturing and welding facilities and field. If you need a great job, Lincoln Electric, check them out.
Yeah, definitely. So the thing is, to your point, we're taking it at its face value that somebody told Jeremy Fowler, either with Lamar's camp, who we think is very small, or with the Ravens camp, that he is saying, I don't need it to be fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
It just has to be more than what Deshaun Watson got.
The bottom line is Lamar Jackson's not getting anywhere close to this.
Not even close.
It's not going to happen.
Nope. Unless
he can do whatever he wants, and he wants to hold out, whatever. If I were him, I probably would have signed that 3-year, $150 million, whatever it was.
133. I would have signed it too.
That was 133.
That would have made honestly, to me, that makes a lot of sense. Because if he would have, first of all, he's getting a ton of money for 3 years.
Right.
Ton. And if he balls out, then he will get a ridiculous contract in 3 years.
G and I yesterday, when we were chewing this over, were kind of saying, this is interesting that it's come out now. So this is what we sort of theorized. I asked G, it only takes one sucker.
It's only take one.
Who's the sucker? Who's the guy in the NFL that would do that?
We know who. It's one guy. Yeah,
Robert Irsay. And here's why.
He'll do it.
Jim Irsay.
Jim Irsay. I'm sorry. I think his dad's name was Robert. Jim Irsay. And here's why. If there is an owner in the NFL that knows what life in the league is like with the haves and the have-nots at quarterback, it's Irsay. He won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. He had a chance to, it was arcing that way with Andrew Luck. And since then, he's had just a bunch of guys. And you've seen that they've become irrelevant.
And he bought Jeff Saturday and willy-nilly just to
sure,
try to do
like
something.
Let's try anything. This guy is desperate to be relevant again. And we know that he has the 4 pick. He's not giving that up.
Nobody's doing this before the draft.
No one will. But after the draft,
it could change.
Don't be surprised if Jim Irsay says, I'll give you 5 for $240. It only takes one sucker.
Hey, anything's possible. And it might turn, listen, if Lamar Jackson stays healthy, I think Lamar Jackson's going to play well for 5 years.
Think about it. He going to be in here in this dome
in
warm weather.
Fast track.
Close to Louisville.
A very winnable division.
Very winnable.
Winnable division. I know Jacksonville's on the rise, but Tennessee and Houston, they're down.
To Louisville.
It is very
where he played his college football.
Very close to Louisville.
I think Atlanta.
I didn't even think of that.
I think Atlanta would be very smart to go after him.
Yeah, but I think they're fiscally too responsible to write that check. You got to find the sucker. Just like Deshaun Watson found the sucker, the guy that wrote the deal that everybody said, what? Wait, that deal didn't happen. Now you got to find another one, and I think Irsay is the sucker.
Because people say this don't count, G. Bush. It was a different thing. See, Deshaun Watson got that after you were sitting out. And it wasn't they rewarded him for sitting out and having bad whatever. He sat out, and what happened was you look at the Browns. And a lot of teams don't plan on going 7 and something, 4 and something. To some teams, that's unacceptable. That we're not doing that. No go. So when you get to the offseason and Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson or anybody is sitting there, you're emotional after the season.
You start adding
zeros. You
zeros.
start looking around. You're like, well, I ain't even got no draft picks like this. Who's on the draft board? There's some good quarterbacks. I don't even like that quarterback. Give me Lamar Jackson. Like, it starts rolling like that. And I think Jim Irsay, when you cannot underestimate the impact of losing a guy who is Andrew Luck.
And Peyton Manning, too. I mean, they had.
Well,
He got the
But they were prepared
generational
for
guy.
Peyton Manning to leave.
But they were blindsided by Andrew Luck, and they still haven't recovered.
I'm not taking 3-year, 133. I'm not.
If you Lamar, you ain't taking it?
No, because here I think he can elicit more, but he got to play the game a little. The problem with Lamar is Lamar's doing all the talking. That's why Deion was like, stop talking.
Right.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Because sometimes you need somebody to do talking for you. You just sit over there, right? Yeah. And let the people do the dirty work for you and set this thing up. Yeah. And I would tell you this. If he had an agent, it'd be done in 40 days. 30, 40 days.
If he had an agent, he would have signed.
It'd been done.
I think it probably would have been done. What Lamar needs is a voice of reason in the room that can check the temperature and the market. Now, you made an interesting point yesterday or maybe 2 days ago when you said it paid off for Deshaun Watson to sit out, and it did. Remember, the teams that are desperate for quarterbacks run out of avenues to get them.
Right.
If they're not coming through the draft and these franchise quarterbacks don't come available.
Yeah, it don't matter why he sat.
I'm saying he didn't sit out for money.
I know.
But Jay, who constructed the deal? It wasn't Deshaun Watson.
No, it wasn't. But I think what happened was the market drove the
market
price
came here, but the mouthpiece had to go put the deal together.
Yes. I think Lamar would be very well advised to hire.
And it's okay.
You guys are saying, I still don't think anybody's going to give him that contract.
I do. Listen here.
I'm afraid that Jim Irsay will.
If he says today silently, I went and got Deshaun Watson's agent. His price of getting his chances then went up to about 75%. That he at least gets over
his mom was doing the pseudo agent role.
Right.
You can do that. Here, this is what you do though. You go get the mouthpiece. I don't have to be the one talking, right?
Yeah, and he shouldn't have to hear what the other team is going to say about him in negotiations.
48 laws of power always tell you, always say less than you have to. Because sometimes they don't even know where you are on the board. They might be thinking, well, they shouldn't even really know how much he really wanted.
That's why Deion told him stop talking.
Just
always listen to Deion.
Just stop talking.
Well, Deion, hey, he worked that nice deal. Deion, watch this. He's the only coach I know that didn't have any college coaching pedigree. He went to high school, coached his sons, then went to HBCU, used all his leverage and his connections to make that jump. And then he said, I'm going D1. People said, Deion, you got to stay at Jackson State 3-4 from 1. He said, oh, no.
And by the way, if he turns Colorado into a winner, then he's going wherever he wants.
Well, he'll pick a Power 5 elite. Notre Dame,
Florida State.
And some of those fringe powers that have fallen off. No, never coach at Ohio State.
Why?
Because the next coach at Ohio State will be a Buckeye.
Hold on.
Because Ryan Day was not.
Let me jump in here.
That cult.
Let me tell you something.
You're right. No, it is.
Buckeye cult.
Hold on. That stick will never play in Columbus.
No.
Ever.
No, it won't. But not even for that.
Hey, look.
He's
not
a Buckeye.
That stick will never play down there.
I want to do this, guys.
Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
Aditi is really leading the charge on this. This thing has been so popcorn worthy. It's just been fascinating to sit back and watch as they lobby back and forth, and some of it in social media, and watching John Harbaugh sort of dodge the question as he was blindsided. He's been great.
I love Lamar.
It's been high drama, and it got us to thinking. This has been one of the more bizarre contracts and contract negotiations that we've ever seen. What's the strangest contract or contract negotiation that you guys can remember in sports history? I have one that it blows my mind to this day.
So mine was, and this is a Cleveland Brown, the Terrell Pryor contract. So Terrell Pryor, he comes in, he's a quarterback. Hugh Jackson says, we're going to play you at receiver. Never played receiver before.
Yeah, decent year.
Had 1,000 yards. Yeah. They was giving him the ball, and Wildcat had a really nice year. And so Terrell Pryor's like, they offered him a contract for like $32 million. Terrell Pryor was like, no, I'm turning that down. I want a shorter deal, and I want more money. And they were like, I think he ended up signing to the Washington Commanders or the Redskins at the time for like 12, 14 million, and they was offering him 32. They offered it, took it off the table, like, nah, get up out of here. Never really panned out the rest of the time. But I always look at it.
Do you guys have a weird one?
What do you mean by weird exactly?
Well, I'm talking more not negotiations. I mean, but if you have one that
bizarre contract
like the
was
Bobby
Bonilla contract.
Yeah, the Bobby Bonilla contract to me was and probably always will be the strangest deal ever.
That Ken Griffey Jr.
He's still getting money.
He's going to be the 4th highest player for the Reds this year.
$4 million a year.
He's still getting paid.
But the Bobby Bonilla thing kind of started a trend, but I thought it was going to be the norm, and it didn't.
No.
Guys want their money. But what Bobby Bonilla did was one of the smartest things that I've ever heard an athlete do. He signed, at the time, this was the richest deal in pro sports. I think it was 5 years, $29 million. And think about that, how absurd that is.
Yeah.
That at the time, that was the biggest deal. This was in the 90s. Biggest deal in team pro sports. He played 3 years for the Mets. In 2000, they were having a fire sale. They shipped him off to...
No, not 2000.
No, not 2000. Before 97, because he won the World Series with the Marlins in 97.
Yeah, right.
In 2000, 2000 was the last time he played for the Mets. Okay?
Yeah, that was the Subway Series.
They owed him $5 million on his contract.
Yeah.
And the Mets offered, can we defer that, where you'll be paid from 2011 to 2035 over $1 million a year.
Yeah.
They only owed him $5 million. Instead of paying out the $5 million, they were remember wrapped up in the Bernie Madoff pyramid.
Yeah.
And they were getting 50, 60% on their investments. Hello, that should have been a red flag. But they felt they were going to be able to handle this easily because the Madoff money was pouring in. So they offered to pay him $1 million a year for 25 years, beginning in 2011. He gets that payment every year on July 1st. And he's going to get that until he's 72 years old.
Right.
$1 million a year. So instead of paying $5 million up front, they deferred over $25 million over 25 years.
Yeah.
One of the most bizarre contracts of all time.
No doubt.
Well, it's something like the Allen Iverson deal. Allen Iverson they paid him his upfront money, but they negotiated with Reebok and they gave him $40 million. So I think it's on his.
It went into a trust.
But that came from Reebok. That didn't come from.
Yeah, that was
a great negotiation.
That didn't come from the Sixers.
We got a segment coming up that I've been waiting a year for.
Wow.
A year for this.
Dead or Alive?
Yes.
We got to do a couple things first, real quick. We got 2 super chats. We're going to keep these both quick, though, because we do have to get to something else. From DB Dog 21 says, being a Browns fan is like being in love with a girl that you know is going to break your heart, but you can't help but love her.
Fact.
Hoping that one day she will love you back. And Donnie M says, so just one person. G, you're answering this real quick. Fellas, what are your thoughts on the fact that Ravens aren't offering him more guaranteed money than Kyler Murray? I think that's the problem because Lamar is much better than Murray.
I'd be more pissed about that.
I think that's the more egregious contract than Watson's in totality.
Listen,
Watson deserves it if he's healthy.
As a man, when you get an MVP, I think sometimes he feeling like yo, they're trying to marginalize this MVP. Like when you say MVP and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and all these other guys, that's a certain level of cachet. You trying to play me like Deshaun Watson and oh boy, nah, I'm better than him.
Well, there's one other thing that goes into it. It's likelihood of repeating what you've done. And I think with Tom Brady and players like that, the likelihood that a pure pocket passer could do that again was higher than a guy whose game and platform is built on running the ball.
I think it's more about he hasn't played as well since. That's it. He hasn't played anywhere close to
That's part of
MVP
it, too.
level.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's part of it.
Injuries.
Go ahead, Mike.
His recent sample size isn't great.
Yeah.
Yep, it is 12:30, and the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, as always, is sponsored by Kaulig Racing. Kaulig Racing, the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio. I want to let you guys know that next month, April 14th through the 16th, the Great Lake Collectors Convention, presented by Greeny Sports Card, is taking over the Field House in Independence. It's where the passion of sports fans, collectors, and sports talk enthusiasts collide. 50,000 square feet of ball, card bliss, hundreds of display tables, card shop live theater with interactive appearances from the region's most notable sports media members, including Bull, G, J, and myself. The great cards, great location, great show. Tickets on sale now at greenysportscards.com. We're going to play Dead or Alive in a sec.
Do you guys have the erasers, Mike?
Yeah, we'll bring the erasers out. Earl, get the erasers right now.
Hey, before we go to Dead or Alive, can we do the schedule? Like our
that is the plan. We got to talk about the schedule real quick.
So we just want to let you guys know up front. So when you tune in and you say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't look like the same show, you know why. Is it next week? Or
Starting next week.
Starting next week.
Jay and I are both taking some time off.
Yeah. I'm going to be here 2 days a week. Now, I wanted them to be when you were here.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing this. You and I like to fight.
Yes.
We disagree a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Unfortunately, just the way our schedules work out, it's not going to be able to happen that way.
Right.
I think we'll do one show a week together. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, there'll be some weeks it'll be more than that because there are some weeks where so Jay's going down to 2 days a week.
I'm going to do 2 days a week until football season.
Right, and I
think you're doing 3.
I'm going 3 days a week till football season, but I have a handful of weeks within there where I'm doing 4 days. There'll be a few weeks where
I think there's a couple
days.
too where I'm going to try to sneak in
Right.
On a third
Something
day.
more than that,
When big things are going on, I think we're going to try our best to do it.
Yeah.
We're both juggling a lot. In Bull's case, he has not been, I think you've been pretty open about your wife is currently
She's going to be in the hospital for a while, and I just need a little more time.
A while is like months.
Yeah,
it's going to be a while.
So that's why I'm taking some time off.
Yeah,
so
and by the way, I mean, not that you'll be a single parent, but you've got a young son.
I got a lot going on.
You got a lot on your plate.
I got a lot going on.
And for me, I've been trying to juggle 2 full-time jobs here. I do, after I'm done here, I go upstairs with Channel 3. I host an hour and a half on the afternoon block. I do the 4 to 5, the 5 to 5:30. I also have a number of franchise pieces, feature pieces that I've done during my time here that I've kind of had to put on pause because I just don't have the time. I miss those projects. I desperately want to fire them up again, and I will. So beginning next week, I think it's Monday, Friday.
Correct.
I hope so.
Most weeks, Jay's going to be Monday, Friday. I'll be on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Monday, Wednesday,
Most
Thursday.
weeks, although next week I'm on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But and it's just for the summer, and then by August we'll all be back 5 days a week.
Yeah.
We love the show. We don't really want to miss the time, but we both needed some more time right now, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So that starts next week, April 1st.
Yeah.
Correct.
Dead or Alive. Now, I got to tell you, this is fun. I love doing this. But I think we also have to remember that there are dead people involved.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
One of the ideas that we talked about was a little too fun for Dead or Alive, so instead we're just going to use the board. But this is a game that it's culturally relevant. A lot of people play it.
Yeah.
You'll hear somebody's name come up in conversation. Abe Vigoda, Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Geez, I don't know.
And we're not rooting. It's not like we're playing a death pool.
No, we're not doing
betting on
death
somebody
pool.
to die.
We're not going to do death pool.
And for the people who might not, are y'all gonna show me some pictures for this? Because I might not even know who these people is. Y'all guys be having y'all know everybody.
Are they all sports and entertainment people? No, like politicians or anything like that?
So what are we
I
supposed to
believe
write
so.
on
I'm going to
here?
be honest. This was an Anthony and Earl production.
Okay,
Dead
you
or
just
Alive.
write dead or alive. And whoever gets the most right
Brad's not sure about this.
I was like, what is this?
they're going to give us
City Hall meeting. They're talking about dead folks.
They're going to give us names, and we got to say whether they're dead or
And
alive.
there's 25 names. Play along at home. See if you score more than the winner.
Yeah, we're going to have
on
to
our
move
panel.
fast through these.
Yeah.
Because it's
So
25.
what's number 1 on Dead or Alive?
I'm texting Anthony to make sure he's keeping score at home.
All right.
Just
That's
a heads
a
up, not
disaster.
enough hands back here.
Yeah,
Anthony
keeping
keeping
score at home
track
is a
of.
total disaster.
Oh, that's dang. The setup is bad. Setup is bad. Back
We got to
Actually,
answer
hold
quick.
up. Do we have an extra board?
I don't know why you guys made 25, but
All right, here's what we're going to do. I got
25
2 buddies
people?
in town. Jacob's sitting here. We got an extra marker. Jacob, my buddy's going to keep score. He's here.
Okay,
Hey,
good.
all right,
Can't
good.
mess
All
it
right,
up.
great.
Hey, put him to work.
Jacob, you're
Here
McNuggets'
you
friend?
go.
I am McNuggets' friend.
And you own up to that publicly?
I own up to it publicly.
Wow, Jacob, you're a hell of a friend.
do you
Good
want
guy.
to say who else he's friends with, or do you not want to say that on the air?
Let's not say that.
Okay, fine.
People ask me, is McNuggets a good guy? And I go, I don't really know him.
Is it
You know?
Trump?
I don't really know him.
No, it's not true.
All right, let's go.
ahead.
25 of these.
That's
25.
I'm guessing the winner will get 18 right.
Okay, maybe.
Let's go.
So that's the over-under.
All right, here we go,
Let's
Mike.
go.
And does Jacob have a marker? He's got someone
Yeah,
write it
he's
down
set
with?
up. He's all set
All
up.
right, cool.
All right, here we go.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Axl Rose, dead or alive?
Oh, this is crazy. It's easy
I don't
money.
know. Shit.
Boom, boom, boom.
You want music?
Oh, yeah. Oh, music's great.
Alive.
Yeah, he's absolutely alive.
I ain't
He
know.
was
Brad
just in
says
the news.
dead.
Brad says
I
dead.
ain't know.
The answer, Steve?
You know what we need? We need the Bon Jovi song. Dead is alive. That's what we need
know.
underneath there.
I was surprised. I thought it was white people, but
I don't know. Look,
right.
look. I don't know.
Go
Keep
ahead,
going.
next.
Next up, Neil Armstrong, dead or alive?
Oh, I think he's still kicking.
Boom, boom, boom. I think I got a distinct advantage here.
Dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, Jay.
He's dead.
Jay probably announced most of their deaths on TV, which is.
Yeah, this is kind of cheap.
I'm back in the
Yes, there
game.
is.
Like Jay has lower thirds. For all
I'm back
this
in the
stuff.
game. Jay, I'm back in the game.
I guess it could be anybody because Neil Armstrong.
Jay, I'm back in the game.
You're back in it.
Yeah, look.
Question number 3.
You good on the scoreboard? Okay, great.
Jacob's a smart guy. If he can't count, we're
He's
in
got
trouble.
this.
Yeah.
He's got this.
Joaquin Phoenix, the actor.
Oh, he's just weird. I think he lied.
He's just weird. Is weird a category?
I know his brother's dead.
River's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live. I'm guessing you mean alive, G.
Live. G wrote live.
Everyone says alive. Everyone is correct.
I think we're gonna blow 18 out of the water.
So
good.
far, I mean, that was a
Okay.
bad one right
You know,
there.
the
He's so
good,
young.
the tough ones are the old people.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Haven't done any old people. Well, Armstrong, Neil Armstrong.
like
was
like Spock, Leonard Nimoy. You know, like is he dead or alive?
He's gone.
I
Go
don't know.
ahead.
He's dead.
Next
but
up.
Might be up
he
out
could
of
be
here.
alive.
Number 4, John McEnroe.
Oh, come on.
come
Dead or alive.
Come on, bro.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
See, you know what? This is handled by a young 25-year-old.
It's not, I can't believe Mike gave
John
up this.
McEnroe.
I mean, this
Anthony is
terrible.
25.
I just
so-
saw John McEnroe the other day.
This is so far. You guys have done a poor job.
grocery shopping.
He's very alive on ESPN's
Like,
tennis
there's
program.
got to be something that's not obvious.
Once again, I love
You
Anthony.
cannot
I
be
stand by
serious.
Anthony. You guys gonna hate this next one too.
Chris Everett.
Janet Jackson.
Oh my God.
Oh, my God. Stop playing with me.
That's y'all's friend.
Okay,
Yeah,
right
that
now-
is your friend.
I
Right
didn't
now,
make these.
right now, this game is going down as a huge fail.
Listen.
It's a huge fail.
Gee, we put a
Who's
lot.
next, Roger
you keep
Clemens?
throwing me off at live.
It's Liv.
We've only missed one.
That's it.
Brad thought Axel was dead.
And I also I
yeah,
missed one.
yeah, that's right. We missed 2.
Janet Jackson is still fine. And you talk about she alive or not. We know.
So, as we
know.
run through this, I'm also seeing these for the first time. So we're going through harder and harder to
Bad
get
job
down.
producing by you, Mike.
I had a lot of stuff going on yesterday. You guys ready?
Yeah.
George Michael.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not quite sure who George
I'm
Michael
actually-
is.
You don't know
So
who
there's 2 George
Michael
Michaels.
is?
George Michael from Wham.
From Wham.
That's him.
Oh,
Well,
that's
then he was
the
a big
name?
solo artist.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he had a huge,
Gotcha.
but he also was from
Let's
Wham.
go.
And
Right, but I
then,
feel like he's more.
You gotta
known.
have faith
Let's
that
go.
he's out
oh,
of here.
bull saw everybody's. Were you gonna write down what?
I was gonna write it down, but whatever.
Okay.
You don't have to trust
All
me.
right.
He is dead.
He's very dead.
Hide your
He died like
answers.
Christmas night.
Yep.
Everybody thought it was AIDS related because he's gay. He was gay, but it was actually he had some heart ailment.
Listen, if I could transmit his beard, I'd take over the world.
Yeah, he had that 5 o'clock shadow
Hey, if I
forever.
could- that shadow beard, that
It
permanent
could have been
shadow.
a tattoo.
It
Can we see
could've.
that picture again? You know,
Steve,
some
Why
Go
would
back
people
one.
think it was AIDS related in 2016?
no, they just did. A lot of people thought that.
People
you know,
are ignoramuses.
see, that could be that's
That-
almost too smooth, bro.
Y'all
There
got
could
some.
be
Y'all
ink
got
in
a
there.
picture of Kevin Stefanski. Whose is better? Because Stefanski's joint is. Hey, I can't believe that dude is a coach. You see it? He's American Eagle, Abercrombie and Fitch.
All right, what's next?
Sports guy, Roy Halladay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it was a boating
Yeah.
a helicopter plane accident.
By the way, Earl
Good job.
Earl and Anthony are fired from this
Yeah,
particular
this
job.
this could have been a really good
This
segment.
could have been great, and
This could have been a really good
they've
segment.
blown it big time.
Anthony tested it on his parents. That was his.
Yeah, that's our
Yeah.
demo. That's our demo.
As parents,
Yeah, plane crash.
yeah,
Yeah.
plane crash.
It was a plane crash.
Some of them,
it has to be more
And he had
obscure people.
He had drugs in his
It
system.
can't be super famous people.
Jay,
They got to be more obscure.
why- I'm glad
it's
you
got to
just
be
do the voting.
C-list and D-list people, not
I'm
A-list.
glad Jay just does the boating because this seems like a lot of rich people just want to fly into
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah.
No.
I want to fly. My wife will not allow me to.
There you go.
Like I want to have my pilot's license.
Like
She
you
won't
could
let
have
you get on
like
a plane?
Daryl Kyle
What?
would have been
She won't let you
better.
get on a plane?
No,
No,
she doesn't want me driving the plane.
Oh,
She
that's
doesn't want me to
right.
be a pilot.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
yeah.
what's the next one?
All right, this next one, Sophia Loren.
Oh, come on, man. Come on,
She
bro.
was
Who,
old.
by the way,
She was all
that's a
right
terrible
there.
picture of Sophia Loren.
She's
She
like
was cold.
500. She'd be like 500
In her,
years old.
she just died.
Yeah.
But in her day, she was like one of the most beautiful
Steve,
women
take
in the
it.
world.
Oh, what you mean? Listen.
Oh, we blew it.
Wait a
We
minute.
blew
Are we
it.
sure about that? I think she just
Oh,
died.
no, hold on. We got to fact check.
Oh,
Check
my
that.
God.
If they missed this, and I think I just remember hearing that she's dead.
About a month ago.
Yes, very recently. If you guys blew this is the worst segment in UCSS history.
She's alive.
Really?
I don't see anything that says Sophia Loren dead.
It would be on a Wikipedia or
God,
something.
I really
Did you
thought.
Google Sophia Loren died?
I just Googled Sophia Loren dead. Nothing.
Nothing. You guys
She's
are
alive.
Wow.
Yo, you guys
I'm
know
sorry, Sophia.
Shout out
Apologize to Anthony.
Somebody
You
just
guys owe
died.
Anthony
that
apology.
I'm confused with
Now,
next.
What was it?
I will say Betty White was bad back in the day.
Next.
Go look at Betty White about 30.
She was kind of a looker. She's kind of a looker.
Doing her thing.
Back in the 1940s.
like
There's a lower
She died like 4 days before she turned 100.
Yeah, like in like a recession
Before
type
we
way.
show the next one, you guys all owe Anthony an apology.
Anthony,
No, we don't.
I am
No,
sorry
we don't.
because
This has been a terrible list.
but we got one wrong.
We did this one.
Well, one, I mean, it should be hard. Most of them have been very easy.
Hey.
True. Anthony, we're still mad.
Yeah.
Next
Sorry.
up,
Sophia Loren was a good one.
that
but
was.
next up, Rodney Dangerfield. Dead or alive?
Hey man, Rodney Dangerfield was 99 when he shot that. So he should be, or he found
Hey,
the
lady,
you.
if I buy 2 odds, will you show us your end?
Hey, that's a pretty good Rodney Dangerfield.
It is.
And you guys are all correct.
I
Rodney
feel like
Dangerfield is.
I feel like if you're from New York and you're in the radio, you should do voices. You got to learn at least
Yeah, I
5, 6
agree with
voices.
that. I
But
agree
they don't
with
even
that.
let you get on the
The
stage.
New York Knicks are terrible.
The terrible was. I see the Stephen A. at the terrible at the end. I'll give you that.
All right, where are we?
Next, this one I actually don't know. I haven't known a lot of these, to be honest. Bob Barker.
Oh, come on now.
Come on, Bobby.
Bob Barker, he was out here moving and shaking.
I don't know this one.
Oh, that's
He's out here.
Yeah.
I want to say that he died recently, but
Yeah.
that dude could be alive.
He died recently,
Did he die recently?
somewhat recently.
Oh, now I have to double check.
See, I should have gone with my gut, damn it.
You should have.
I don't remember.
Bob
was a good
Barker is
one.
alive.
He's like a Deadpool staple. He's like the
Yeah.
first pick in the Deadpool.
All right, Anthony's got to come up with
Like-
So
two
is
good
Dick Van
ones
Dyke.
here.
Man.
You know, I shouldn't have.
But that's what it's
He
got to
turns
be.
100 this year, by the way.
Damn.
Bob Barker.
That's what it's got to be. It's
don't
got to
know.
be
I
like
don't know,
not
Someone like
A-list
that.
celebrities
Someone like
that
that.
are really old.
Dang,
Damn,
Bob
I should have gone with my gut on that. We're still tied.
Yep.
For the lead.
Here's the issue, and next time maybe we have to have one of you guys do this with us, because I don't know a lot of the old people. Like this next guy,
Yeah.
never heard of.
This is great.
Let's
though.
take it. Dick Van Dyke.
That's who I just
You
said.
just said that.
I just
Never heard
said
of
Dick
Dick
Van
Van
Dyke.
Never heard of Dick Van Dyke. I have no idea who he is.
Really? You never saw
He
Chitty
looks like
Chitty
an
Bang
Amish
Bang?
guy in that picture.
Look like a leprechaun.
I'm saying he's alive.
I'm actually not sure about Dick Van Dyke.
I'm not sure.
I'm going the opposite way. I'm like,
I'm
Oh,
going
I
there.
got you, Bull.
He's still
I
alive?
got you. Yeah, he's in the hospital. He was in a car. He just got out of the hospital.
Good for him.
He's 99 years old, like Bob Barker, but in great shape.
That was the D block.
All
at
right, so
6
there you
o'clock.
go.
Oh, I think he's 90. I think he's 99.
So
Maybe he's 97.
I believe Jay has the lead by 1 over the rest of us.
Yeah.
right?
He's up 1.
All right.
All right.
It's going to be close down.
damn.
He's 97. Was born in 25.
Okay. Very good. Thought he was 99.
Next up, Mel Brooks.
Damn.
Anthony was just saving the good ones for last.
Yeah, these are
25
better.
Okay.
Apparently he is.
I'm gonna say
Anthony, I still
I'm
love
saying
you.
he
Don't
living.
worry.
good.
He's alive.
I don't remember hearing
No,
that
he's
he
definitely
died.
alive. I know it for a fact.
Steve.
Bull just saw.
Yeah.
96.
Bull
Yeah.
just saw him.
He was just in something
And
recently.
he made an
Surreal.
appearance somewhere.
They
not
did
long
History
ago.
of the World Part 2 on Hulu. It was terrible.
Oh,
He was
did
in it.
he
He was
really?
promoting it like a couple of weeks ago.
Ugh.
It was so bad. That movie was great back in the day.
The original was awesome. Yeah.
The
We
show
have
on
13
Hulu was
more.
terrible. All right, go
How
ahead.
many?
Tommy Lasorda.
So G's 2 back, right?
So what? This is
Tommy
going to be
Lasorda.
continued tomorrow then if we have 13 more.
Hey man, Tommy
we got
Lasorda
15
got to be
minutes.
dead. He
Okay.
got the Nutrisystem dude.
It might answer for everybody.
He is a Nutrisystem. He was Nutrisystem.
He can't be living.
He's dead.
He's out.
He's
there.
dead.
I will tell you this
Man,
though. I'll tell you
I thought he
this.
was still alive.
I sent you guys a clip. I don't know if you saw it or not. I sent you guys a clip from a World Series game where he went out to make a pitching change.
Yes.
And he was mic'd, and it was one of the best
Oh, he's hilarious.
examples of a player or a manager wearing a mic, because he literally was telling his pitcher, "You effing suck." And his pitcher was arguing to stay in the game.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I make the decisions around here. It's my ass in a sling, and you've been terrible. Get out of the game." It was great. It was great. So Google it. It's good.
All right,
It's
I'm
entertaining.
back.
I feel like Tommy Lasorda is a guy that coaches baseball, but
I'll give Anthony credit. He's
Like he
picked it
just
up
said.
here.
He was-
second half.
He's
Great
doing
man.
better.
He's doing
By the way,
better.
Jay, a lot of people are chiming in. You're thinking of Raquel
Raquel
Welch.
Welch.
Raquel Welch.
Good job. That's right. I
Raquel.
was
Shout out
thinking
to
of
chat.
Raquel Welch.
Shout out to chat for that one.
Raquel
God,
Welch was
Mike,
a
how do you not know any of these people?
bombshell.
Next up,
You know.
Oscar Gamble.
Oh, I once for Halloween. Do you remember the movie?
Don't tell me you were Oscar Gamble for Halloween.
No. But Oscar Gamble had the best afro in the big leagues.
I call it the Mickey Mouse. Because when he put his hat on, it looked like Mickey Mouse ears.
And
I think he's alive.
he's alive.
No, he's dead.
He's dead?
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah, because he was one
dominating.
of my favorite players when I was a
Jay
kid.
is dominating. By the way, so there was a movie called The Fisher King with Robin Williams. It's a very, very quick story.
That was a great movie.
In that movie, he's like a homeless guy, and he would walk around with a garbage bag on him. So one year for Halloween, I dressed as the Fisher King, and I had a garbage bag on me, and I taped a giant picture of Oscar Gamble to the front of the garbage bag.
Wow.
Because I loved Oscar Gamble. I was obsessed with Oscar Gamble.
But what does that have to do with
Nothing, but I just did it. Anyways, I thought it'd be funny. Go ahead, next.
Bro.
Next up, Willie Nelson.
Jay taking over.
This dude is crazy, bro. Willie Nelson's still alive.
Jay is
Willie?
Is
Oh, yeah,
winning
he's
by
still
a lot
alive.
now. 2 or 3, I think.
I've missed 2.
Ask Samuel Jackson and Barkley now.
Alive.
Very much
I
alive.
saw him doing
He's
Nicorette.
proof that smoking weed will get you to 100.
That's right.
Nicorette
89
Gum.
years and
Well,
going
he was
strong.
with Jennifer Garner on the commercial.
Yep.
He's
Sure
Yes.
was.
He's hooking up with him, too.
Stop.
You never
Allegedly.
know.
Allegedly.
No,
Stop.
allegedly not. But anyway.
Next up,
Allegedly not.
Kimbo
We've seen
Slice.
his work. Oh, he's out of here.
He's actually the first one. Was he a
He was at MMA. He went
was
viral.
right.
He was the guy that brought backyard fist fighting
Yes.
into popular culture, and then he became a pro.
dead?
He actually
Everybody
had a
says
couple
dead
of pro
for
fights.
Kimbo.
He did pass away, sadly.
Kimbo was
one
badass,
of the OGs.
though,
One
man.
of the OGs.
He was a
His
badass.
YouTube videos, if you want to see something
Yes,
else.
man.
Google
Yeah,
it, kids. Kimbo
A lot of
Slice.
people be dying early, OG. You gotta
he was
get
not very
these
old.
gems, man. You can't be having that hypertension.
That
that
sounds.
diabetes.
His
Boy of the
name
week,
sounds
baby.
like
Yeah,
the name of a food at like a hoity-toity New Brooklyn pizzeria.
Give me a side of Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, he was,
No salt.
Yeah.
back then he was walking up to people just punching them. Dead.
He-
World Star!
That
World
was it,
Star!
He did.
What happened to World Star?
It's still out there.
I'm gonna go check that out.
It's
when
still
I get,
out there,
I'm
man.
gonna check that out.
Speaking of punching people, Willie McGinnis punching people in the bar.
Willie McGinnis fired by the NFL Network.
I saw
bro.
that.
Listen,
Yeah.
we
He
can't
went
put
wild.
we can't put
That
everything on
video's
CTE.
nuts.
We can't put everything on CTE. But Antonio Brown and Willie Mack,
Yeah.
they wasn't built like that, man. Willie Mack just had the curl. He was a ladies' man. He just had the curl. He wouldn't let it go because the sides was receding a little bit. But the fact that Willie Mack came in with the curl and jacked somebody up in a 5-star restaurant, that's not him, man.
With a bottle.
With a bottle. That's right.
Right. Sorry.
What number how many do we have left?
5.
Patriot way.
Bull, you can still do it.
He was
No,
nuts.
what's the standings?
What's wrong with you?
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Okay, 14.
This is all news to Jay. JB did this is C block.
Jay get
C block.
Jay get all that on the news.
I want
Six
these
left,
guys
I
in this.
apologize.
Put it in.
Six
there.
left.
Okay.
Jay get all
I can
that on
still
the
get to
news.
20.
Yeah, Jay
I
get all
gotta
that
get
on
to
the
18
news.
because that was my line.
Jay get all that on the news.
All right,
Next up.
we're down 3 G's down 2.
Aaron Carter.
Oh wow,
Who the
man.
hell is Aaron Carter?
Aaron
wow.
Carter.
He sung "I Want Candy." I
He
think.
was
Yes.
the first
Yes.
Bieber before Bieber, and his brother is Nick Carter.
You're right.
Of
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, really?
Boys.
Yep.
All right,
There-
I'm going dead.
He's famously
He's
dead.
got to be
I'm
dead.
famously alive.
That's a giveaway because you wouldn't put that but somebody that young unless you were dead.
Well, Axl Rose isn't that old.
Damn.
that
he was
man,
on there.
He's way older than Aaron Carter.
Probably 15 years older than Aaron
Hey,
Carter,
he
maybe
lost
20.
His parents used all his money.
Yeah, what happened?
He had a
Something
rough
happened to
go,
him.
man. He had a rough
Drugs.
go. I knew he was in trouble when he started an OnlyFans page. That was how I found out what
Yeah,
OnlyFans was.
yeah.
Because I read an article that Aaron Carter started an OnlyFans page. I'm like, what the hell's that?
I thought that was
and then I
only for women
read
to
about
get
it.
naked.
Oh,
He was doing some of that.
I've been about to. Listen, I knew
He was
about
making a lot of money from it.
I knew about OnlyFans way before him.
Damn.
Well, hello.
G. Bush would like to invite you to his OnlyFans page.
He
It's
always
called,
do
it's
everything
called
else.
Browns Fan in Disguise.
Right.
And it's got a Kool-Aid, a Kool-Aid logo.
I drink purple Kool-Aid wearing lingerie, watching the Browns.
And a Browns helmet.
And a
Please
with a
start that
visor
page.
on.
So that page is so. Now listen, you laugh about that. Somebody told me that there are fetishes
Yeah.
Right.
where there are morbidly obese women. I'm talking 700 pounds.
Oh my God.
And they're sitting in a chair nude with chocolate cake and
Stop.
pie.
All right, I'm gonna
Steve,
throw
take
And they're
it.
eating it
I'm
and
gonna
shoving
throw up
James
again.
Earl Jones,
I'm going
dead or
to throw up
alive.
again.
What the hell is wrong with y'all?
That's a
Oh
true
my
story.
God.
Hey, listen, that's a true story.
I don't judge whatever people are into. I just want to hear about it.
That Browns only fan. By the way, James Earl Jones
Brad's
is
getting a
alive.
hell of an education today.
And by
That's a thing, Brad. It's a thing.
Brad don't live in that fetish world.
we tried to get. I tried to get James Earl Jones to do a voiceover for me.
Yeah, he is alive.
I tried to get him to do a cameo.
Oh,
He said
dude,
he-
it's like
It's
six
like
figures.
$2 million.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's big time
He
money.
wouldn't do no cameo. He was like, it's like $6,000 or something.
That's,
No, we looked
I
into
did
it to
live.
see,
I forgot.
Yeah,
to do
it was literally like $2
It's
million.
alive.
Yeah, his signing fee, like just to
James
get him in
Earl-
the doors. $2 million.
James Earl Jones.
All right, you know more.
Jack back in the day, and Conan the Barbarian, he had some muscles.
Yeah, I know.
Field of Dreams.
4
man.
more.
His
Okay.
speech in Field of Dreams.
Oh, so
Doesn't
good,
get any
man.
better than that.
So good. God.
What's he
Sean
got?
Connery.
Oh,
alive.
shout out to my man, one of the best to do it.
One of the best Bonds, some say the best Bond ever.
Yeah,
He
without a doubt.
started the whole craze.
He was
Untouchables.
He was
Yes.
kicking people in
Because
the
my
face.
man that was lately. The
Rock, remember The Rock?
Piers
Rock.
Morgan. Who the hell? Who's doing the guy? Who's doing the
Yeah, but I
Bond
always
now?
had a problem with
Oh, he awful.
the weird co-star of his in that as a tough guy.
Well, he
The
wasn't
guy,
supposed to be a tough guy.
who
his
used to-
co-star.
You know, he
Yeah,
used to
Nicolas
get,
Cage.
you know, he
yeah,
used to
Nick
get all the
Cage.
women.
I just don't buy
He
him as a
wasn't
tough
supposed to
guy.
be a tough
Well,
guy.
yeah.
He
No,
was-
I know, not
yeah,
that one, but in other movies, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I'm a bad
Hey,
ass.
Yeah, I don't
Jay.
buy him.
Jay, this is funny. Why was you gotta address your era? Why was William Shatner getting all the ladies? What was it about his taco meat and William Shatner that he had out?
William
I think
Shatner,
he
was
was-
he getting the ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was.
yeah.
He was
Not
the
like,
star of Target. He was
not
Captain
on,
Kirk.
Yeah, that would probably had a lot to do with it, but he was a smooth talker. He was a suave dude.
By the way, he had the first interracial kiss ever on TV.
He sure
I
did.
sure did.
On Star
Aurora.
Trek? On
No,
Star
Star
Aurora,
Trek.
yeah,
On Star Trek. Yep.
No
Star
kidding.
Trek. Sure
That's
was.
just
Great
interracial
trivia
kiss on
question.
TV.
I did not know that.
Hey,
Now every commercial, it's an interracial couple.
We got
Almost.
Every commercial. It's so
Almost.
funny.
We need to trade for him in the race draft now. We need to bring him home. Bring William
Give him
Shatner
his
home.
card, baby.
Look, Captain Kirk was getting
You
the
better
green
hurry up.
ones,
He's-
the
he's-
silver ones.
he's
he was
into
getting them all.
Deadpool, too.
He getting them all.
Will.
Yeah, and they all had bikinis on. I
Three
was
more?
like, damn, how you get
3
out?
more.
All right.
Michael Cera. Dead or alive.
Ooh.
Oh, come on, that kid. I just saw this kid. This kid can't be dead.
You're not supposed to be talking about it.
I'm sorry.
Help me out, G. Shit, I don't give a damn.
You know what? One of those
He gotta be.
from that genre was recently
Outta here,
died.
though.
But
What
I'm
we
gonna
got?
lie.
What we
I
got?
thought I was going to get one on
But he
here.
could be that one.
No, he's not dead.
Okay, but
he's
one
way
of the
too-
guys
he's
that
way
like
too popular.
have that same look and same
Yeah.
career. There's about 20 of them.
Yeah.
One of them just died.
Super bad all-time classic.
Yeah, it's great.
He
He's
was
so
in a
good at
show
that.
with Amy, what's the actress's name? The
Amy
comedian.
Adams?
Amy.
McLovin, by the
Amy
way,
Ro-
is
Ro-
one of my all-time
Not Amy.
favorite
Yeah.
characters.
Super bad's
Like-
in my top 3 Mount
that
Rushmore
comedian?
of
She's
comedies
like-
ever.
Well,
little bit of a heavy
it's
set
one of
with
those
that
that
Amy.
I have
That's
to
her
stop
name.
and watch
Fat.
it when I'm
But
flipping
that's
through.
that was her name in the movie.
What movie?
What?
Who's the girl named? No, I'm not saying
Who's the
she's fat.
comedian?
Fat, was it not fat?
I forget.
Amy
Don't matter.
Amy Schumer?
Huh?
Amy Schumer.
Schumer.
He and Amy Schumer were in a TV show on Hulu. I can't think of the title
Do
right now.
you
It's
know
really
that
good.
is Chuck Schumer's niece?
Yes.
I did not
Facts.
know that.
Yes.
Facts.
You didn't know that?
We have 2 more, right? We only got 4
Did not
minutes
know
left.
that.
2 more.
How did I not know that?
Yeah,
I
it
thought
is.
you
It's his
would've known
niece.
Billy Joe Armstrong, lead singer of
Green
Green
Day.
Day, I believe.
Of who?
Green Day. No, he's definitely
Billy Joe Armstrong.
Man.
I would not have known who that was.
Green Day. Shout out to Punk Rock. Punk is ready to
I'm
go.
going dead.
I
Can
got him
pick one up
alive.
here?
He's alive.
I got him alive. Someone died though from Green Day, but it wasn't him. All right, it's a wrap. I can't lose.
Last one.
And last one,
What's my number?
George Lopez.
19. Okay, good.
Come on, George Lopez. Come on.
Lopes. He's got a new show, man.
I just saw him after. All
That was
right.
a terrible one.
You can't call him Lopes.
I did.
Live, bro.
All right.
Live.
Overall, Anthony did a very poor job with this.
Now, what-
I love him, but he did a poor
Hey,
job.
this is your
But
bid.
congratulations. I know it didn't go
Did
well.
we have one more or no?
Well, I mean,
That
we
was
had
it. That's
fun
the last
making
one.
So
fun
I
of it.
finished with what, 20?
Congratulations, Jay. You won.
20.
All right.
20?
All right.
G18.
Okay.
We got Brad, you got 16. And Bully got 16.
You know what it is,
Wow.
Chad. The
Second place. The king of second
the
place.
king of second place does it again. I find a way to come up from the bottom.
The Phil Mickelson of our show.
The Phil Mickelson of UCSS does it again.
I hope we have a. I hope this doesn't kill the segment forever because it has.
No, we'll
it
have
has
to do a little
potential.
more.
No.
I kind of think sports guys.
I think we
be
should have done
interesting.
sports. Yeah, I think sports would be better.
Yeah.
We will get together. The brain core will get together.
Like
but
Ray
real
Guy, dead or alive.
Right.
You know?
Real quick though, guys, it is 58, which means it's
love
time
that.
for our colleague race report.
Oh yeah.
The
Where
official
are they this
sponsor of
week?
the lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, the official NASCAR team in Northeast Ohio, and Earl. What do
All
you
right,
got?
Bull and Jay, I need your help with this. I was a week ahead.
I know you burned me on that because I saw Matt later that day and I said, "When are you leaving for Richmond?" And
Yeah, they was in Texas at the road course.
He said, "Not for 2 weeks." And I go, "Whoa, you're not going to the race there this weekend?" He said, "No, we're not in Richmond this weekend. That's next weekend."
This week,
I said,
they
"My
in
boy
what?
Earl took
They
me
where?
down the wrong leg."
Come on, Bull, you did it last week. Where they at this week? They in Richmond.
Me?
What?
Yeah, they're. Rich.
What did I do?
I got you. Coach Carter?
Yeah, man,
got
forget
you.
it, man. He missed it, man. That's why we bobbed that dead of a line.
I dropped
'cause
the
of that.
ball on that
Yeah.
one. That was a bad job
He
out
set
of me.
you up twice.
Yeah. Sorry.
But Toyota Owners 400 is at Richmond Raceway this Sunday, April 2nd at 3:30 on Fox. The defending race champion is Denny Hamlin. Then the Xfinity race will be Saturday, April 1st. No April Fools at 1 o'clock. Qualifying for that race is actually tomorrow morning. So good luck to our guys at Call It Racing. Bring home a dub.
Yeah, they follow up last weekend's win with their Xfinity win last Saturday, right?
They did. What up, G? We got a minute left.
Chat loved the segment. They loved the segment. They played along. They said we got to do that again, man.
All right.
Hey, real quick, Nipsey Hussle, dead or alive?
Dead.
Dead.
Bankroll Fresh, dead or alive?
Alive.
Dead.
Don't know who that is.
Dead.
He's alive.
My man Luke Reddick.
All right, Steve Becker sent us a
Lance
comment.
Reddick.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
By the way, it's
Bob
Lance
Newhart.
Reddick and he's dead.
Bob Newhart is dead,
Dead.
I want to say.
Bob Newhart's alive.
I don't know the answer. He just sent question marks. Florence Henderson.
Dead.
Dead.
Christy Allen.
Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley's
Just
dead.
passed away.
Recently.
She just passed away.
How do you not
Otis.
know who these people are?
Millennials, man.
You don't know
watch
Kirstie
sports.
Alley? She's dead.
She just died.
She's wackadoodle. Now she's wackadead.
We got overtime next. We'll see y'all
These
Monday.
guys ended it like that.
Like I said, we're going to be respectful during this game. We're not going to make fun of the dead.